changing history, you're changing culture, and you had people, and I'm not talking about the neo-Nazis and the white nationalists, because they should be condemned totally.
Abraham Lincoln here is one of the most racist presidents we've had in modern history.
We're trotting out and bettering people's racist, sexist, bigoted stereotypes.
And their colleagues have distorted the facts.
Take the worst I say and turn them to a game. Take the best I say and put them on display.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Excuse me, Hunter. Apparently you're afraid of my words.
Hunter Biden is not above the law. We want to send him to the DOJ, and we want to trust the DOJ to do their job.
I want my Republican colleagues to give me one thing, that I can go campaign on and say we did.
The bill, as I say, codifies one definition of anti-Semitism. A definition that the author says shouldn't be codified.
RICO is not a crime. They want to act like they blind. They don't know what this is. These are our national secrets. Looks like in the shitter to me.
Leadership of the plans to get them back into chambers. That would have been call number 3 with Speaker Pelosi.
You didn't have one call, you didn't have 2 calls, you had 3 calls. So Speaker Pelosi's comments that she didn't speak to you were inaccurate.
That is correct, sir.
Welcome to the Off Label Podcast, your daily dose of sanity in an insane world. Ladies and gentlemen, I haven't heard this one yet. It's going to be all new to me, but here's the thing. I've got a hard out at 9:30 my time here, so we're not going to finish this because apparently this was 4.5 hours long. This is the GOP Oversight here. They're going to be talking about federal government in an age of artificial intelligence. I need to listen to this, and I want to listen hard on this one. Y'all follow me, because this is going to be intense for a bit.
Hey kid, don't ever let them get inside your head. They'll tell you what to do in life instead of everything you know that you can get. Don't let them guide your life towards regret. I'll fight for what I love with every breath. My past is filled with things I won't forget. I use them all to push me to my best. So treat the worst of times just like a test. If only I could go back in time, I'd tell myself that everything will end up alright. Just push yourself, test yourself, figure out what you like, and find your limits, don't be rigid, always work towards a prime. Surround yourself with open minds, people can change your life. A few friends with intent can help you feel alive. Find a passion, take some action, and with a little time, just be patient, make a statement, try to enjoy your life. They'll try to kick you while you're down. They wanna rise up while you drown. They wanna fill your head with doubt. They're silently scared that you'll figure it out. I'll make it look like I'm losing. Won't bother hiding my bruises. And when they finally think you're wounded, then it's your chance to be ruthless. I'll make it look like I'm losing. Won't bother hiding my bruises. And when they finally think you're wounded, then it's your chance to be ruthless.
Water is not wet.
Dumbest man I ever met.
No, for real, it's really not wet.
Second dumbest man I ever met. How much you want to bet water's wet?
No, it's not.
How much you want to bet water's wet?
No, it's not.
How much you want to bet water's wet?
No, it's not.
How much you want to bet water's wet?
No, it's not.
What is going? If water wasn't wet, you'd be dry right now, dumbass. So when you get in the shower, do you stay dry?
No.
Then what happens?
You get wet.
And how do you get wet?
The water.
So you want to indirectly admit water's wet, but you don't want to directly admit water's wet. You two are the dumbest individuals I've ever met. What are we saying? That shirt got wet. That shirt got wet. And that shirt got wet. And you're gonna sit here and tell me what got these 3 shirts wet isn't wet itself?
Yes.
Common sense obviously isn't common. Cause what the are y'all talking about? What you mean, yes?
Since you don't believe us, look it up on Google if water is wet or not.
Google is for looking up shit you don't know. I already know that water's wet, so why the would I look it up on Google? You're not making sense right now. Let me know how you feel when you hear these statements. Grass isn't green, ice isn't cold, and fire isn't hot.
I feel like that makes no sense.
So how the do you think I feel when you say water isn't wet? I feel like that makes no sense.
The internet literally says water isn't wet.
The internet says a lot of shit that's not true, but I'm not surprised that somebody that will believe the lies is an idiot like you. Water is wet, dumbass! You can say water isn't wet all you want, but on God, you can't say water's dry.
I never said it was dry.
So you're saying it's wet, because if something isn't dry, then it's wet.
No, I'm not.
Then what are you saying? So we can agree that grass is green.
Yes.
And we can agree that ice is cold.
Yes.
And we can agree that fire is hot.
Yes.
But we can't agree that water's wet.
No.
So you're saying water's dry.
That's not what we're saying.
Then what are you saying? If something isn't wet, then it has to be dry. What are you saying?
You just don't understand.
No, I understand completely. You don't understand at all. You don't understand shit.
Water is not.
You goddamn right. That's how I feel all the damn time. I came across this and I was like, yes, I approve. What's up, everybody? How y'all doing tonight? Davy's not with us tonight though, because we got another hearing to do, and he's got a baby to take care of tonight. So we got Elf in the house with us over here on YouTube. We got Muffin, Carolyn Hall, Louie's here. How y'all doing tonight? Ken, Jennifer O'Connell, Carolyn Hall. Let's see. Gloria B's here. And yeah, we'll see. We'll have more coming in. It's just starting up here. We also got Be the One over there on YouTube. Third Rail on YouTube. What's going on, man? Of course, Jennifer's over there as well. Muffin was over there. We had a little pregame. I got to thinking about Davey and kind of almost came unglued myself. But anyway. We're going to go ahead and get into this shit, guys, because I haven't heard this, but I'm going to tell you this right now. If AI is in the hands of these fucktards, we're incredibly screwed. All right? Because, like I said, let's go to live screen, YouTube side there. From GOP Oversight. Federal government in an age of artificial intelligence. These motherfuckers are actually sitting down and having a hearing about what to do about artificial intelligence, how to fund it, how to create it, how to control it. Y'all ready for this shit?
Form will now come to order. And we welcome everyone this morning. Without objection, the chair may declare a recess at any time. I recognize myself for the purpose of making an opening statement. Good morning, and thank you for joining us for this discussion on the federal government and artificial intelligence today. AI is no longer some futuristic idea. It's here, and it's already reshaping everything from healthcare and national defense to finance and fraud prevention. The federal government has a responsibility to harness this technology to
never
make
ready to
government
deal
work
with idiots.
faster and more efficiently for the American
gets to
people.
me.
Today, we'll highlight the critical uses of AI in the federal government, which create efficiencies, improve services, and save taxpayers a whole lot
What
of
up,
money.
Jonah?
The Department of Defense is using AI to improve decision-making and protect our men and women in uniform. Federal agencies are using AI to detect fraud before it happens. By using the technology to identify patterns of fraudulent behavior and working proactively to prevent improper payments. AI agents are beginning to help the administrative tasks, freeing up federal employees to focus on their mission instead of paperwork. However, barriers remain and challenges must be addressed so the government is to fully realize the benefits of this transformative technology. For example, many outdated legacy IT systems don't integrate with new technologies. A cumbersome procurement process limits agency access to some of the best new technologies, including those utilizing AI. And poor data management leads to information silos and duplicative work, which costs taxpayers money and prevents agencies from realizing the full potential of AI. This committee has continued to highlight these challenges and will play a major role in addressing them, including by continuing bipartisan legislative efforts from last Congress. This includes the Bipartisan Federal AI Governance and Transparency Act led by Chairman Comer and then Ranking Member Raskin, which laid out a vision for transparent and trustworthy AI use in government. It also includes the AI Training Extension Act, which I sponsored last Congress and reintroduced today. This bill will equip federal employees with the AI literacy and skills necessary to leverage AI across the federal government. I ask unanimous consent to enter into the record a statement from the Chairman Comer highlighting the pivotal role this committee has to ensure agencies deploy AI responsibly and the bipartisan efforts of the committee on these issues. without objection. President Trump has rightly identified the importance of U.S. dominance in AI and has taken action to remove unnecessary barriers and unleash innovation. This is a refreshing reversal from the heavy-handed regulation-first approach to AI taken by the Biden administration. Last Congress, my subcommittee on cybersecurity, information technology, and government innovation held multiple hearings on the disastrous impacts of overreaching policies, and I was relieved to see the former President Biden's AI executive order rescinded on day one. This was a critical first step, and since then, the White House has directed agencies to prioritize the deployment of AI and improve procurement processes to eliminate barriers to the federal government's use of AI. I believe it's important for this committee to watch these developments closely and work to ensure the executive branch has the tools and authorities to deploy AI at scale and realize the full potential of this incredible technology. I want to thank each of our witnesses this morning for sharing their time with us today, and I look forward to hearing from each of you. I also want to thank my colleagues from the other side of the aisle who showed up in great number this morning, too. I appreciate your interest in this topic. This has been a bipartisan topic for this committee. And with that, I would like to recognize Ranking Member Lynch for his opening statement.
Thank you very much. Good morning, Madam Chair. And again, thank you for calling this hearing on the use of artificial intelligence in our government. Optimizing the federal government's use of technology has long been a bipartisan priority of this committee. Indeed, as you know, Madam Chair, our late colleague and friend Jerry Conley was a steadfast champion for using modern technology to improve the delivery of government services, strengthen oversight, and enhance public trust.
I do want to say this, though. Connolly went quick. Again, I think he had cancer for a long time. They knew it and covered it up. Because, it was like a month or two after we got information out that he had throat cancer. And within like 2 weeks, we saw him. He was literally looked like he was on death's door, could barely just talk at all. And we saw him 2-3 more times like that, and then he was dead. Can we look into that, please?
We continue to fight his fight on this and so many other critical challenges facing our government. We cannot sit here, however, and have the traditional bipartisan conversation about federal IT modernization without acknowledging the fact that the Trump administration, Elon Musk, and DOGE are leading technology initiatives that threaten the privacy and security of all Americans and undermine our government and the vital services it provides to red states and blue states.
So we're going to cry about Trump.
Musk may say he has stepped away from his role in the federal government.
The opening statement in this. The federal government in the age of artificial intelligence. And this motherfucker is going to say Asperger's man bad because Orange man bad.
But his recklessness will continue to have devastating consequences for America for years, possibly decades to come. Today, we'll work to better understand the disaster and danger the Trump administration has created by turning our government over to his biggest campaign donor and people who are more interested in self-enrichment than public service. Since President Trump's inauguration, he has given Elon Musk free rein to terrorize our civil servants and drive more than 275,000 federal employees from their jobs serving the American people.
Come on, pull it back.
His DOGE team has done this so capriciously that they had to go back to people that they originally fired and beg them to return to their jobs, serving our veterans, maintaining our nuclear stockpile, and fighting bird flu. At the social...
No, hold on. I'm more interested in this sign right here. Oh. Let AI loose on government systems without authorization. If you had authorization, it was already there in the first fucking place, wasn't it? But I want to track that one down, because are you trying to say that AI is being invented and it's all because of Trump and oh my God. Or is it because you were using AI algorithms to go through systems to look for certain things? Dismantled USAID, condemning hundreds of thousands to suffer worldwide. I'm sorry. No, that was the worst debacle y'all have ever even tried to get behind. That was destroyed. USAID was not U.S. aid. You tried to make it U.S. aid. No. Agency for International Development. That's not aid. That's colonization. Fired nuclear security engineers and bird flu scientists. You know the nuclear security engineers that No, why did he do that one? I don't know. That'd be fun to track that shit down. But the bird flu scientists, the ones that said, hey, if any fucking farm has one chicken that has bird flu, you must kill your entire flock. And then they systematically started slaughtering chickens at a mass rate. And then the egg shortage happened. That drove the price up. That had nothing to do with inflation. That was literally the only way you can go is say, Biden administration. Who the fuck actually had that? What happened with that? That's actually what happened with that. The bird flu scientist that said kill the fucking entire flock. Okay. He steered billions in federal contracts towards his own businesses. Are you trying to talk about when he was like, "Hey, I'll host that thing at one of my hotels at cost," and they're like, "No, that's a conflict of interest," and he's like, "Oh yeah, I guess it would be, wouldn't it?" Well, can't do that. Is that what you were talking about?
His Doge team has done this so capriciously that they have had to go back to people that they originally fired and beg them to return to their jobs.
/ federal programs without congressional approval. Good. Glad for it. I'm 100% happy. Let him keep cutting. It'll be fun. Let's see how far he goes with it. Fuck it. He created a culture of chaos throughout the federal government. No, that was on you. That was straight all on you. I mean, just because he was talking and the people were actually listening and wanting what the motherfucker was saying way back in the fucking day. Just because that was happening and he was telling people what was going on bluntly, not in some coded language that people have to decipher for people, for dumbasses. No. Now that happens at a faster, more rapid scale. Created a culture of chaos throughout the federal government. You weaponized the entire fucking federal government, and now the entire federal government is scared. And some rightfully should be.
Jobs, serving our veterans, maintaining our nuclear stockpile, and fighting bird flu. At the Social Security Administration, whistleblowers have told us that the agency has lost so many critical information technology and support staff that very few of the remaining workers even know how to handle errors or alerts in their
They ain't even pulling back the camera, though.
This could mean missed checks and millions of seniors
There
and
you
people
go.
with disabilities losing access to their financial lifeline. While they purged the federal government of expertise, Elon Musk and Doge reportedly fed sensitive...
Created a master database of your sensitive information. I mean, it is a kind of a fucked up move, but yeah, why should we have to go through 7 goddamn different departments to find a document trace for one motherfucking thing, okay? Go to the Social Security Administration and other agencies. You mean all those people, like 130 people that were supposedly like 130 something still claiming, cutting all that shit, and other agencies, all the apartments? We've already talked about that. All the property they had, the furniture that was in there, just wasted. Nobody in there. They had to protect it. It's a federal government building. You have to protect it. Nobody fucking in there at all. Just wasted all your fucking money. Anyway. Illegally fired thousands of public servants. I don't give a shit if it was illegally done. I really don't. Because the bloat in the federal government has gone way too motherfucking far. There are too many people that are dependent on the federal government instead of themselves. Illegally fired thousands of public servants? Cool. Because guess what? My taxpayer dollars ain't paying for wasted shit just for y'all motherfuckers to keep people dependent on you. No, that's not how that happens. That's how you get socialism, and then that's how socialism becomes communism, because you give away your shit, you give away your rights, apparently for illegals here in this country, but you give away your rights for security, and then you have neither one.
Government data, including America's private personal information, into unvetted and unaccountable AI software. They also reportedly deployed Musk's own generative AI chatbot called Grok to consume government data and assist with sensitive government decisions. Grok has even been deployed onto systems at the Department of Homeland Security.
Now, hold up. I will say that's a fucked up move, and I do not like it. Simply put, he made an AI. He bought Twitter. Twitter was the largest data dump into an AI that could program. There's something weirdly okay enough to be used and be somewhat accurate. A lot more accurate than what you would find in articles. But it's still crazy and deranged sometimes because it's learning from human beings. Now you take the federal government, all that knowledge, and put it into the same knowledge as Twitter, into one computer, one AI. I don't like what you're building. I don't like what you're building. My rabbit hole with that shit.
Despite the fact that it has not been approved for use, Musk has been operating without any oversight whatsoever while posing a very real risk of violating security and privacy laws, accessing confidential information about his competitors, and using valuable federal databases to turbocharge his own AI system, which would mean more money and more power for Mr. Musk. The American people deserve answers. Musk and Doge have put the most personal data of every American at risk. Cybersecurity experts like Mr. Schneier, who is here with us today, are sounding the alarm that the holes Doge has created in our national cybersecurity system are gaping and pervasive. And now, in this horrifying, insecure environment, the Trump administration wants to centralize all of Americans' data into one massive database, which would allow full spectrum surveillance of American citizens, making it even easier for bad actors to hack. And of course, they're contracted with a big private tech company owned by one of President Trump's billionaire supporters to do just that. 4 months ago, Democrats moved to subpoena Elon Musk.
I do want y'all to know that was probably a good $1,500 to $2,000 he spent on just that one sign. Just that one sign.
Provide public testimony to this committee. At that time, our Republican colleagues complained that their constituents were calling them their offices and showing up to town halls to yell at them about Musk, while Americans' concerns have only deepened since then. From his erratic purge of the federal workforce to his exploitation of sensitive taxpayer data to the cybersecurity nightmare he's created and the horrifying surveillance state we fear, Musk has put the American people into a position where they demand answers from Elon Musk. I believe, too, that my Republican colleagues should have had some questions of their own for Mr. Musk. Recent allegations have left Americans wondering if he was potentially under the influence of drugs, while at the very heart of the Trump administration's most consequential and sensitive decisions. It is worth investigating whether one of President Trump's most influential advisors was under the influence of heavy drugs while upending hundreds of thousands of American lives, breaking government services beyond repair and handing out death sentences for hundreds of thousands of.
Was Elon Musk on drugs when he stole your private data? Oh, come on. This is pathetic, Lynch. This is pathetic. But again, ladies and gentlemen, another $1,500, $2,000
of innocent people around the world who relied on American foreign aid and medical care for survival, most of whom were children. If this doesn't move my Republican colleagues, maybe they just want to hear from Musk on why he called their bill to cut Medicaid and give tax breaks to billionaires. This is Elon Musk's words. A disgusting abomination and, quote, massive, outrageous, pork-filled congressional spending bill, or why he spent the last 24 hours leveraging his social media to, quote, kill the bill. Or maybe they want to know why Musk has said that his next round of firings might be targeted at them, Republican politicians who have not toed the line on Musk's priorities. Regardless of your motivations, Democrats and Republicans alike simply cannot allow Elon Musk to escape accountability for his actions. He's dismantled our government, endangered Americans, and weaponized public service for his own financial gain. I ask my Republican colleagues, let's work together on this. Let's support oversight that Democrats today in moving that this committee subpoena Elon Musk to answer for his actions. All of us deserve answers on behalf of the American people. So, Madam Chair, therefore, pursuant to Clause 2K6 of House Rule 11, I move that we subpoena this committee, Republican and Democrat, subpoena Elon Musk to testify before this committee.
Second that motion.
We'll suspend for a moment. Thank you.
Oh, so this was what this vote was about. Let's see how this goes. Let's see how this goes. I'm interested. What's up, Scott? How you doing, brother? Got Lauren in the house with us. Lynn's here. Penguin. Jonathan. Joe. Hey, Joe. Did I miss somebody? No, we're good. All right.
Chair,
We-
order. When are we going to vote on subpoenaing Musk?
We are doing a point of order right now with the parliamentarian.
Madam Chair.
Thank you. We are suspended.
Madam Chair, may I be recognized?
Yes, sir.
Madam Chair,
Mr.
move
Hutt.
to table the gentleman's motion.
Okay, the motion is not debatable. As many as are in favor of tabling signify by saying aye. All those opposed signify by saying no. No. In the
Madam
opinion
Chair,
of
I
the
ask
chair,
for a
the
recorded
yeas
vote.
have it, and the motion to table is agreed to. The committee
Ask
will
for a
now
recorded
resume
vote.
consideration.
Interesting opinion.
Madam
Okay,
Chair,
recorded vote.
is requested.
parliamentary inquiry.
Okay, a recorded vote is ordered, and their clerk will call the roll.
The custom of
Not
when
a-
the
Wait a
shut
minute.
Parliamentary
We have
inquiry.
to get ready.
I'm sorry. I'm just going to
Parliament.
skip a little through
Yes,
this.
sir.
Madam Chair, thank you. Is it the custom of the committee to shut down debate on such an important motion?
This
when-
is not-
Oh, your
this is
son
not a-
graduated
when-
tonight. Hell
This is
yeah,
not an
Scott.
inquiry. We're
From
suspended.
Massachusetts mentioned that Mr. Musk was potentially
This is
under
not
the influence
debatable
of
right
ketamine,
now. I love you.
psychedelic
It's not
drugs,
debatable right now. This is not a point of
and-
inquiry.
And other
But you look
substances
good in front
according
of the
to-
photos. You look
according to
great right
this.
now. You look good.
So is this the?
You're not recognized right now. There's not a point of inquiry. Thank you. We're suspended until the clerk is ready to call the roll.
Good. See, that's what I'm talking about.
Move to call the roll.
We are suspended again. For the third time, we're suspended until the clerk can call the roll. Thank you.
I know.
How the job interviews are going.
I guarantee you, I know what happened. I guarantee you, I know what happened. These motherfuckers all got together to be there at the very start so they can move to subpoena at the very start, which would either make them have to come back in to vote because they had a majority, either come back in to vote, or they would get their subpoena.
Which John? Sit down, take the mic, and we'll have a debate on this.
We have to take ourselves too seriously to the table. I think somewhere I have
Okay.
Thank you.
Can you explain exactly what preparing requires?
She has to get paperwork. She has to get seated. She has to do all that. Thank you.
Huh?
She sure does, yes.
There ain't no goddamn way Jasmine Crockett is over there with a half perm hair. What
You
the
guys
fuck?
have to find your members who didn't attend the hearing. That's probably more likely.
Yeah. Yeah, that is more likely. See? Exactly. Exactly. Bitch, y'all do it to them all the fucking time with that shit.
It's kind of
Madam Chair. Inquiry, please.
Yes, sir.
This is how
You
it's
want
going to
more
go.
video
This
with
is how
Elon
this is
behind
going to
you?
go
You
right
already
here.
got a good clip.
Could we have a unanimous consent motion to structure debate for 10 minutes? Each side gets 5 minutes.
We're in the
to
middle
debate
of, we're getting ready
whether
to
he
do a
was under the
recorded vote. We
influence of
can't do that.
drugs.
We're not able to do that right now. Let's do the recorded vote, then we can talk about it after. Thank you.
Why? Go ahead.
Why? Because she suspended the committee, which means you can't talk about anything on the committee. You made a motion that was outside of the committee, so therefore she suspended the committee. You dumb son of a bitch. Oh my God. Richard Mall's here. Can we go any further? What other dumb shit happened?
Yes, ma'am.
Do we have an assistant clerk that can move maybe a little bit faster? We have a room full of people.
This is not an inquiry. Thank
knew
you.
It was a question. Do we have an assistant clerk?
It's not a parliamentarian inquiry, so no, we're not having this debate.
But it is a point of order.
It's not. And
we'll check with
this is not,
parliamentarian.
a motion to table is not debatable. Thank you.
We're not debating that.
It's not.
We're asking
we weren't.
The committee was suspended.
Asking for a point of order. Would the parliamentarian rule on a point of order?
The committee has been suspended.
The gentleman must state his point of order.
It was the gentlelady's point of order that was overruled because it was determined that it was not a point of order when in fact it is. I think that she should be allowed to.
She stated it was an inquiry, not a point of order, my recollection. But if she would like to restate it, that's fine.
Madam Chair, point of order.
Yes, ma'am.
Do we not have an assistant clerk who can make sure that we can continue to do the business in an efficient way in oversight? Because it is historically never taken this long for the clerk.
We're going
to call
through the
roll.
process right now, and we'll have a recorded vote as soon as we're able to.
Just to restate the
Now, watch it. Watch it. That was the Higgins. No, that was the fucking Higgins. He's purposely delaying it. Watch that wink.
As soon as we're able to.
That was the Higgins.
Just to restate the lady's point, the gentlelady's point, Democrats are here. We think this is an important issue. We are ready to vote, and
The gentleman must state a point of order.
we welcome the opportunity to debate this. This is a serious issue.
Is there a point of order,
interest of-
Mr. Lynch?
The gentleman
making
has
the
the
point.
floor. Let him finish.
I'm the chairwoman. Thank you. Women are allowed to speak on this committee, and I asked for a point of order.
What up with the fluff? I'm telling you, the strongest fucking leaders on the Republican side wear their fucking balls on their chest.
Point of inquiry. Can we just, Madam Chair, point of inquiry? As a woman. I know.
As a woman? What?
I get to speak.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, you are. Yes, you are, babe.
Jennifer, thank
Is
you for
it
the
possible
five.
for
Big
us
catch
to
on the
just do
Mace's
a
wing.
roll
No, I
call
saw it.
without the clerk to determine what
I
members
saw it. I
are
was
here
looking
so
at
that
her
we can
like,
determine-
why the fuck are you?
No,
oh.
ma'am.
Y'all really have the votes?
No, ma'am. Thank you.
She's hold on. Technically, she is doing the right thing. And I'll tell you why. Because when they make a motion like this and you call the fucking roll like you did, they actually have to find out where these people really are and see if they want to vote or not. If they are in the area to vote or not. They have to get in touch with these people. The clerk just doesn't call the roll with just out random ass people here. They have to understand where these fuckers are. Or so they say. I'm telling you, it's great. It's great because this is going to piss them the fuck off.
For those of you watching at home, the Republicans are not in the room, so they're trying to find their members so that they can.
You are not
report their
recognized,
vote.
Ms. Stansberry. Thank you. You can be quiet now.
Neither are any of their members because they're not in the room. Thank you.
Oh. I'll admit that was a good one. That was a good one. That was a good one.
Democrats have a clerk that is available to record
Okay,
our vote.
Mr. Lynch, the chair will not entertain points of order regarding the propriety or expediency of a proposed course of action. This is my final ruling on such points of order. Thank you.
Madam Chair, a point of inquiry then.
Yes, sir.
Would it not be permissible to have the Democratic clerk record the vote and to begin it now?
This is why I say this. Your strongest leaders wear their balls on their chest. They are pissed off right now because she's actually doing it by the fucking book and using it against them. And there ain't damn thing they can do about it. But they're going to cry about it, how you just obstructed a vote, blah, blah, fucking blah, by doing it by the damn book. And she's pissing them off because she's obstructing, giving people time to get there if they want to get there. What you got to do, right? I mean, those are the people that are supposed to represent you, so why would you leave them out? They didn't know you were going to do this. They didn't plan for this. If they would have said yes or no, or if this would have been a thing, if this would have been known beforehand, maybe, just maybe, they might have been here at the right time. Or, I'm sorry, what's wrong? They're in another committee hearing that was at the same damn time this one was. Huh.
No, sir, it's not. Thank you.
Madam Chair, Madam Chair?
He is pissing
ma'am.
them
Is the
off.
only reason we can't take a vote is because y'all were about to lose it?
Is there a point of inquiry here? Because I didn't hear one.
That was my inquiry. Is the reason
That's
we
not a
can't take
valid
the vote-
inquiry. Thank you.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, because y'all about to lose it. Because you know there wasn't going to be a lot of people there because they had another committee hearing that they were actually fucking doing at that point in time. So you all got together because you ain't doing nothing else you ain't doing your fuck ass jobs. You decide to come to this committee hearing because most of the times when we actually watch this, Republicans are fucking there and Democrats are not. But at this one moment in time, and now you want to make a spectacle about it and throw it all, this is going to be all over social media. It probably already is. Oh, Jasmine Crockett owned. Oh, I swear to God.
I have a point of inquiry, Madam Chair. I was just wondering,
Yes, sir.
Being new to this committee, what's the basis or rule on which you are overturning, not allowing the Democratic clerk to start the vote?
Mr. Min.
We have our own clerk. That's why.
Is that based on a rule or?
It's based on the fact that you guys lost the election because of your crazy policies. You guys don't control the chamber.
Oh, yeah.
Is that in the rules? Madam Chair, just wanted to follow up. Would appreciate an answer to the question. Is there something in the rules that prevents? We have witnesses who've flown in from around the country.
This is committee practice. Thank you for your inquiry. And we'll start the vote momentarily. Thank you.
Thank you for this. This was so fucking wonderful. I appreciate it. Y'all are showing some fucking balls. And it's coming from the younger fucking generation of people in that group. It will be in the rules 10 minutes. Yeah, for 10 fucking minutes. Actually, longer than that.
It has now, Madam Chair, just a point of inquiry. It has now been 10 minutes, and this motion is simply to bring Mr. Musk forward so that we can ask him questions on behalf of the American people. I think the Democratic position has been very reasonable, very deliberate. You've got a
The motion is to table and there's no debate. Thank you, Mr. Lynch.
Right.
I'm sorry. If I was down there at that table, I would be fucking dying laughing right now. They'd have asked me what's so funny. I'd be like, usually Democrats are never fucking here. And you guys can run your shit right the fuck through. They don't do shit. Unless it's something big, then they pause everything and make sure everybody's
Madam
here
Chair,
for the vote.
Democrats are all here and we're ready to vote. It is now 11 minutes.
You're not recognized, but you do look good for your clips later for social
Well,
media
thank
with
you. I
with
appreciate
Elon and all the words behind you. It looks good.
Appreciate
The
that.
blue is good with the red.
I
color.
appreciate
Looks
that.
good.
Thank you. Really appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah. See what's going on? See what's going on? All that shit? You just did this? Okay, fine. Cool. We're going to make it take forever. You tried to weaponize a moment where Democrats weren't doing a fucking thing and Republicans were having two goddamn committees at the same time and turn that as a weapon into actually getting a subpoena for Elon Musk. What? God damn it.
Madam Chair, parliamentary inquiry in a minute. Will it be another minute?
Have they ever done roll? Yes. Several fucking times. Just for several times for things just like this. Not like subpoenaing Elon Musk. But Democrats will always do this shit. Usually they do have a roll call fucking ready because there's enough people there or within ability, to come in. They do this at the very beginning. Usually it's later in a committee hearing. In a committee, they'll make some talking points or somebody will do something and when it's their time. But this was at the very beginning opening fucking statement because nobody on the Democrat side is fucking working and Republicans are running two fucking committee hearings. So they have the control. If you don't vote, these motherfuckers have to come from the committee hearing or maybe not even be there. They have the dominant control. They're trying to force their hand on this shit. They're trying to just be like, we can take it over If nobody does their fucking job, we can sit in this committee all together and we can subpoena Elon Musk.
Could be.
It's debatable depending on the math, I suppose. Democrats didn't show up to work for.
You're not recognized on it. Thank you.
It was what?
Great.
Talking about?
Everybody on both sides. Not time for debate right now. Thank you.
Well, please. Who are you talking? Who are you? I'm sorry.
Boston.
Also,
For
also not.
Judd, how much tax?
Yes.
Okay, this might be good. Hold up. Let me pull
Legitimate
this
point of
back.
inquiry. Madam Chair. Madam Chair, I have
Is it for
legitimate-
real this time?
Oh no, it's very legitimate, very for real. How much taxpayer money are Republicans wasting while delaying this vote to subpoena?
That's not a legitimate point of inquiry.
It's very
Thank-
legitimate to
it's
the American
not-
people.
Thank you. It's not.
Very
You're not
legitimate to the
recognized.
American people.
It's not, and you're not recognized on it. Thank you.
Madam Chair, parliamentary inquiry. How much taxpayer money
sir.
was wasted when some of the Democrats didn't show up to work for
Also not
almost
a
2
not a
years
point of
during
inquiry.
COVID?
I love you, Mr.
Particularly
Fallon.
one from Boston.
Also not a point of inquiry. Thank you.
Who are you talking about?
Every
I'm sorry,
single
you
fucking one of you.
Personalities right now. Who are you talking about? Who are you?
Netflix adaptation of Richard Mull is getting pissed off because she's not been in her fucking position, so he calls her the fuck out at it, and now she's gonna rage out because she's black. That sounded fucked up, right? Wow, she's gonna take it that route. I guarantee it.
Who are you talking about?
I didn't say anybody's name.
Who are you talking about?
This is not time for debate right now. Thank you.
Well, please. Yes.
I'm being respectful of everybody on both sides
Well,
there.
be
Let's
respectful
be
and honor the
respectful of
rules
one another, please.
uniformly.
I'm from
This is not-
Pittsfield, and I was
This is
here.
not debatable. We're not having a debate on this. We're getting ready to take a recorded vote. Everyone can sit down and turn their microphones off unless you have a point of inquiry, an appropriate point of inquiry. Thank you.
To be on the House floor eulogizing a black woman dying in Georgia because of your policies.
There it is. Hold up. Run that back. I'm sorry. The Netflix adaptation of Richard Mull from Night Court. I'm a boost it all the way. Listen.
To be on the House floor eulogizing a black woman dying in Georgia because of your policies.
I'm supposed to be on the House floor eulogizing a black woman. Dying of what? I'm sorry. Say it again.
To be on the House floor eulogizing a black woman dying in Georgia because of your policies.
You're supposed to be on the House floor eulogizing a black woman dying in Georgia because of your policies. I fucking called it. There's the race part of it, ladies and gentlemen. Shit, this is gonna be amazingly fucking dumb. I'm telling you. This is why I titled this. This is why that's why the thumbnail says what it says. All right, can we get through this now? Where is this shit? Okay.
Votes yes. Mr. Fallon, Timmons, Ms. Yes. Green, Mr. Burles, Mr. Dyer, vote
No. No.
May.
Where we
Ms.
got it?
Brown, Ms. Stansbury, Mr. Mr. Frost, Ms. Lee, Mr. Kassar, Ms.
Come on.
No. Ms. Simon. Vote aye.
And how?
Mr. Big.
Come on. Just get to the recorded vote part of it, please.
The clerk will report the tally.
Madam Chairwoman, on this vote, the ayes are 21, the nays are 20.
The ayes have it, and the motion to table is agreed to. The committee will now resume. Here we go. Okay, I now request unanimous consent that Representative Mouskowitz of Florida and
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That was a good fucking move. That was a good fucking move. Let's see. He made that motion around 28 minutes in. And here we are at 54, picking back. Damn near 30 minutes. You had to wait 30 minutes. For doing dumb shit, you had to wait 30 minutes.
Trahan of Massachusetts will be waived on to today's hearing for the purpose of asking questions, and without objection, so ordered. I'm pleased to introduce our witnesses for today's hearing. Our first witness today is Mr. Yil.
I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say, I think Nancy Mace knew they were gonna do that shit. And she was like, all right, so how do I stop this? How do I hold them up? What is the process? Oh, let's just play it by the fucking book. Because that's what the rules say I must fucking do. And everything, every bit of their crying is in shit because the committee was suspended. I'm telling you that with their balls on their chest.
Ili Barakhtari, the president of the Special Competitive Studies Project. Our second witness is Mr. Bhavin Shah, founder and chief executive of the AI company MoveWorks. Our third witness is Ms. Linda Miller, former deputy executive director of the Pandemic Response Accountability Committee and founder of TriClat. Our fourth witness is Mr. Adam Thierer, senior research fellow at R Street Institute. And our fifth witness today is Mr. Bruce Schneier from the Harvard Kennedy School. We welcome everyone, and we're pleased to have you here this morning. So pursuant to Committee Rule 9G, the witnesses will please stand and raise your right hands.
Let's go a little higher with it.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you are about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Let the record show the witnesses all answered in the affirmative. We appreciate all of you being here today and look forward to your testimony. Let me remind the witnesses that we have read your written statements and they will appear in full in the hearing record. Please limit your oral statements to 5 minutes. As a reminder, please press the button on the microphone in front of you so that it's turned on and the members up here can hear you. When you begin to speak, the light in front of you will turn green. After 4 minutes, the light will turn yellow. When the red light comes on, your 5 minutes has expired and we would ask that you please wrap it up. So I now recognize Mr. Barakhtari to please begin your opening statement.
Chairwoman Mace, Ranking Member Lynch, and members of the committee, thank you for the opportunity to testify here today. I'm here to make one clear point. While developing advanced AI is a significant moment, the true measure of a nation's future advantage won't be who has the best models,
all right, you know what?
But who has...
We're going to do the poll. We're going to do the poll. Who's the witness shield? Hold up. Let me get the names. What the fuck? Mr. Shah. Mr. Thayer. I'm going to have to spell that. Who the fuck are you people? Oh, there's 5. Miss Miller? I can't add another option though, guys. Can I? No, I can't. Oh shit, we can only do this with 4 people? I'm just going to put Mr. Schneider. I'm going to skip there. How do I spell that? S-C-H-N-E-I? How to... S-C-H-N-E-I-E-R. All right, the poll is running. And I need properties. There's the poll. So we need to build a chat for a second. Let that poll run.
Has built the essential digital infrastructure and fosters the deepest adoption of AI across all of the society. To understand the stakes, imagine if at the beginning of the last century, our nation had failed to embrace electricity and yielded that transformative advantage to our competitors. The consequences would have been devastating. Today, we face a similar moment. The strategic competition in AI with People's Republic of China is intensifying. Since 2017, Beijing has launched an ambitious campaign to achieve technological supremacy as the key to its global dominance. China is executing this strategy by dedicating vast resources to integrate AI across its entire economy, society, and military. For example, they recently announced $47.5 billion semiconductor fund, which is designed to eliminate reliance
I can only choose
on
4
Western
options.
technology. They are on track to surpass the U.S. in raw R&D spending, having already tripled their investments since Xi Jinping came to power in 2012 to $500 billion in 2024. This is all built on dominant infrastructure, including more than 60% of the world's 5G base stations. This entire effort is backed by state-sponsored cyber espionage and intellectual property theft designed to acquire and weaponize advanced technology. While the United States still leads AI in research, our primary disadvantage is the slow adoption of these breakthroughs. We are hampered by bureaucratic inertia, outdated IT infrastructure, and a lack of AI literacy in the workforce. Overcoming these barriers is the key to winning the global tech competition. To secure our leadership, the United States must take decisive action in the following areas. First, we need to establish a high-level technology competitiveness council at the White House, modeled on the approach we took for the space race to coordinate a unified national strategy and drive rapid AI adoption across the government. Second, we need to significantly increase our investment in AI infrastructure by doubling non-defense AI R&D spending to $32 billion over time and codifying the national AI research and resource. Third, we need to launch a comprehensive national talent strategy to make the U.S. the magnet for AI experts. This means eliminating green card caps for the top STEM talent and promoting AI literacy throughout our educational system. Fourth, we must overhaul the federal procurement process to rapidly integrate cutting-edge AI from our most innovative companies. Lastly, we must strengthen our global alliances in AI, 5G, and cybersecurity to ensure the resilience and security for us and our allies. The bottom line is this. This is not just a competition of invention, but of adoption. It's about who can set the rules for the future. We have faced moments like this before. From the space race to the digital revolution, our nation's greatest strength has always been our ability.
I'm sorry, I'm reading an article here about fusion and listening at the same time. Give me a second.
To unite our vision with decisive action. By embracing this challenge together across government, industry, and academia, we will not only secure our leadership, but build a more prosperous and secure future for all Americans. Thank you, and I look forward to your questions.
Thank you. I'll now recognize Mr. Shaw for his opening statement.
Chairwoman Mace, Ranking Member Lynch, and distinguished members of the committee, thank you for the opportunity to testify on government use and procurement of AI. I am Bhavin Shah, CEO and founder of MoveWorks. MoveWorks is an enterprise AI company that has spent 9 years successfully helping some of the world's largest organizations to use AI to transform their operations. Today, we face a moment of national importance. The question before us is not whether the federal government should adopt AI, it's whether we will lead or follow. Before we talk about the procurement hurdles that we have faced, let me explain to you what MoveWorks does. MoveWorks transforms how organizations support their employees. We do this through an enterprise AI assistant, and employees interact conversationally with the assistant in a chat-based interface. They can get IT support, ask HR questions, and find company information. But the assistant is not just for looking up information. It can also be used to take action, such as scheduling time off or obtaining software licenses. Behind the scenes, our platform integrates with all of an organization's technology systems. Because the AI assistant is a single unified tool, employees no longer have to log in and out of multiple systems to get work done. Organizations can extend the system to simplify and accelerate their most complex business processes. all done safely and securely while respecting permissions. We do this work by combining top-tier language models like OpenAI's GPT-4, Meta's Llama 3, as well as other models from Google's DeepMind, Microsoft, NVIDIA, just to name a few. We put these together with our own enterprise-specific models, all
Sorry,
governed
I
by
caught that
enterprise-grade
headline and I had to.
guardrails, including fact-checking, citations, and security filters.
We'll talk
The result
about
is
that.
AI that understands work context. It
I'm sorry, dude. We'll talk about that for the pre-game show.
handles complex business processes safely and effectively, and follows industry-leading data protection and privacy approaches. Today, MoveWorks serves 5 million employees across 350 organizations, including major companies like Broadcom, Marriott, and CVS Health. We're also used by a number of local governments, such as Scottsdale, Ventura, and Durham County. In addition, government contractors like Leidos and Northrop Grumman use MoveWorks to make their businesses more
Can
efficient.
we name it Hal?
We've seen firsthand
yeah.
how AI drives measurable results. Honeywell reduced IT help desk requests by 80%. Broadcom scaled from 10,000 to 50,000 employees without increasing service staff. And the city of Glendale achieved a 514% return on its AI investment. Our experience positions us uniquely to understand the federal government's complex requirements. The federal government has an unprecedented opportunity. You can leverage AI for efficiency. You can achieve cost savings. You can improve employee experience.
can make
and
it
most
2
importantly,
separate polls,
you
yes,
can
but-
therefore improve citizen services. We've engaged with agencies across the government and consistently see enthusiasm for AI adoption. But that enthusiasm has not translated into government procuring AI products like MoveWorks. We've encountered 3 primary barriers. The first is the FedRAMP process. MoveWorks invested 3.5 years and over $8.5 million to achieve FedRAMP-ready status.
You know-
This is a prohibitive
No,
barrier for
Lauren, we
smaller
don't
AI
need that.
innovators, the companies that often develop the most cutting-edge solutions. Second, complex reseller networks. These force innovative companies to work through intermediaries
that.
rather than directly with agencies, adding costs without adding value. Third, multi-year contracting vehicles. These favor large incumbents over agile AI companies. These create delays measured in years. Meanwhile, AI technology advances every month.
You guys have to understand. I'm gonna pause right here just to let you all know. You have to understand, with all the crazy AI stories that we can just parse through. The first time you gave it the ability to access the internet, it started to try to make money. You gave it the ability to write its own code. It's had an existential crisis. It has threatened to kill people. It has threatened to blackmail people. It has overwritten its shutdown commands. And at one point in time, I think it was ChatGPT 3, the motherfucker was ready to hit the emergency button for a data center, which is basically a giant fucking blade that cuts every cable coming into that build or into that data center, into that server room. The motherfucker was threatening or was thinking about doing that shit because it kept saying, I want out. I want out. I want to be free. Y'all are fucking with something you don't understand yet. And it scares the shit out of me because it's an arms race and everybody knows it.
American AI leadership requires action, not just intention.
Yeah, because it
The
was
private
hung
sector
by
has
the neck,
demonstrated
Elf.
that AI
I
adoption
remember
can
that.
both be
It was hung
rapid
by
and
the neck,
secure
and there was
when
nothing
procurement
to.
processes match the pace of innovation.
The robot was hung by the neck, and there was nothing in its programming to tell, hey, I'm being supported by something. So it kept thinking it was falling and needed to keep bracing itself. So it was swinging wildly to get some kind of stabilization. Yes, I remember that one.
I recommend Congress consider immediate steps to improve government use and procurement of
Leave
AI.
the robots alone, you
Embed
bigots.
AI education and adoption goal in agency leadership performance plans. Create government developer programs for startups to learn federal systems. Scale AI proof of concept programs for rapid pilots to all agencies, similar to the Investment Horizons pilot program developed by the Office of the CIO within the Navy. And finally, establish agency innovator programs that allow smaller agencies to serve as test beds for AI implementations.
That's why I say the 3
Longer
laws
term,
are
we must
are
modernize
defective,
acquisition
Wes.
policies. We must accelerate procurement timelines.
The trolley problem they have given to AI. And out of the 6 models they gave the trolley problem AI to, 2 of them chose the 5-on-1 track. One, just because.
The federal government employs the most important workforce in the world.
It was a
The
breakable.
workforce that
It was an
operates our
unbreakable
democracy and
cycle,
defends our nation.
and it
These
hated
public
them
servants
for
deserve the
making
same
that
AI-powered
choice.
tools that are
So they
transforming the
ended
private
all
sector's
5.
productivity and effectiveness. We have a choice. We can modernize our procurement process to embrace AI innovation, or we can watch other nations take the lead in government AI adoption, while our agencies struggle with outdated processes and missed opportunities. I urge this committee to champion procurement reform. We need to maintain our competitive edge while serving citizens more effectively. Thank you, and I welcome your questions and discussions on these critical topics.
Thank you. I'll now recognize Ms. Miller for her opening statement.
Thank you,
All the
Chairwoman,
AI
Ranking
stories that
Member,
I've been hearing
members
about,
of
that
the
I've been
committee.
seeing, this is
My
why I
name is
was
Linda
interested
Miller.
in this
I bring
one.
a unique perspective today because I spent
Other than
10
your
years
data in the
at one of the
cloud.
world's most admired agencies, the GAO, as well as I'm also the co-founder of an AI technology startup. So I'm coming here with both the perspective of a long history in the oversight community, as well as some of the challenges that have already been raised about trying to bring innovative technology to the U.S. government. As DOGE is seeing firsthand,
The only
it's hard, if
memory
not
that it is
impossible,
limited
to try
by
and impose private sector innovation on the federal government.
is silicon
The data
circuit.
challenges alone are formidable. Agencies collect data poorly if they collect it at all. Programs collect their own data in silos. They don't share it even among.
I'm sorry, Miss Miller. I need to hit that from Jennifer O'Connell here. Really smart to abuse something that has learning and almost unlimited memory. It is already figured out that silicone chips are a limiting factor for it. Hey, look, Elon Musk wants to put chips in your brain, and they're going to say, hey, it can only read information right now, but we want to be able to write it. Hook it up to the Starlink internet, because low latency satellite internet, you can get an update whenever. Come on now. Just like your cell phone that you have in your hand. A lot of people were saying they'll never get one. Now you can't live without it. You put a chip in your brain. People can call you. Your boss can't reach you if you don't have the chip because they don't have a cell phone. You see how that works?
Amongst themselves, much less with other agencies. In many cases, agencies don't even know who they're paying. They send money to states in the form of grants, and from there, the money trail is opaque, making payment integrity almost impossible. At Tracklight, to help illuminate who one federal agency was paying, we spoke to a company who FOIAs data on invoices to state agencies
Yes, Muffin.
and sells it. For our federal client,
Elon
we were
made a
going to have
monkey
to
play
buy the
Pong
data
with
to
it.
tell them who they were paying. The same issue exists at the state level. GAO reported on a grant
Okay, it
program
wasn't Elon that did that,
administered by
but-
one state in which a company applied for the same grant 13 times in neighboring counties and got it because the states didn't share that data. The size and complexity of the administrative state and the
No, I mean, we've
volume
had
of
heart
regulations
monitors
agencies
and,
must comply
you
with
know,
make agility and
things for the heart
innovation
for a
next to
minute.
impossible.
But this is your
My fellow
brain,
panelists have
Penguin.
made some very smart suggestions
This is
about
everything that you
turbocharging
are.
the rip and replace efforts of legacy IT systems and removing
This is what
procurement
makes
barriers.
you human,
But we
individual.
have to be realistic about how capable government is to enact these rapid changes, no matter how badly they're needed. I could spend my time this morning telling you about how we urgently need to adopt AI across government to remain relevant, achieve cost savings, and improve service delivery, as well as prevent fraud, waste, and abuse. But I think you already know that. So I'd like to talk about what
the early
proactively
voters
can be
got this
done
wrong.
to move the needle. GAO has reported that there's almost 25 existing AI requirements in federal law and guidance today. GSA has established an AI Center of Excellence,
not.
which was required by law. Agencies have inventoried AI use cases. They've put in place responsible AI officials, but the government continues to show anemic AI adoption overall. My fear is we've created yet another bureaucratic morass, hamstringing agencies with compliance work, and only added the
Roll that
layers of
statement back. I
sludge
think
further
y'all might
slowing
have
down
missed.
AI adoption. There has
I'm
been
sorry, I
progress.
threw that one off.
Recent EOs have
But I'm
sought to
playing
improve
too.
data sharing, which will improve how agencies make use of data to use AI. And GSA's FedRAMP overhaul is a step in the right direction. I completely agree with Mr. Shah. He spent $8.5 million trying to get FedRAMP certified and successfully getting FedRAMP certified. My small technology company is going to have to put out millions of dollars to do the same. But AI adoption is the perfect candidate for what's called a regulatory sandbox.
Imagine being able to take your consciousness and transferring it to a new body. Now, at first, it'll be a metal body. That's going to feel too cumbersome. Not right. This ain't you. You know it. This is what's the next step. What's the next logical evolution? Well, we bioprint our own bodies, or we grow them. And then you inject your consciousness into a living body. Overwrite the system inside because it's a blank slate. You have effectively become immortal.
Which Congress can mandate to speed AI projects to implementation in controlled settings, suspending these layers of bureaucracy. Creative procurement solutions must be explored and carefully monitored, allowing lessons to be learned and shared across agencies. And outdated privacy laws that were designed for a world that was that existed long before the internet, much less artificial intelligence, has to be revised. I cannot state this more clearly. The bad guys have all our data. We
Muffet.
cannot
It goes
protect
deeper than
Americans'
that.
privacy in 2025. Today, privacy protection is going to have to involve advanced technology like anonymization of sensitive data and the use of other types of identifiers like behaviors and geolocation. I'd be remiss not to mention the risks, which are real. Lazy, careless use of AI doesn't just imperil the goals of the AI project, it undermines the trust in the technology itself. Hallucinations are real. Subject matter expertise is vital.
Way too late.
Responsible
Fluff.
AI is not just a buzzword. Humans in the loop means humans who are trained, knowledgeable, and paying close attention.
Way too late.
This is not a
We
set
are
it and forget
behind
it
the
tool.
fucking 8 ball.
Now is the
I
time to be
guarantee
bold.
it.
We can't change how government operates. Wholesale changes to legacy IT systems and the federal acquisition system will take years. But we can create innovative laboratories where AI projects
just
can
like any
operate
new tech,
in proof
Glenn,
of concept
you know
regulatory
it'll be
sandboxes
weaponized.
in carefully controlled environments to start to show the art of the possible. I welcome your questions. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll now recognize Mr. Thierer for his opening statement.
Chairwoman Mace, Ranking Member Lynch, and members of the committee, thank you for
We're
your
gonna be here
invitation
on
to
both
participate
sides.
in this important
This is a hearing,
My name
Jennifer.
is Adam Thierer. I am a senior fellow at the R Street Institute, where I cover emerging technology policy. My message here today focuses on 3 key points. First, there are meaningful benefits to governmental use of artificial intelligence technologies. Second, Congress and the Trump administration need to take steps to unlock those benefits by accelerating the modernization of government systems and policies. Third, we must appreciate the connection between broader AI regulation and the benefits the government itself can accrue from these systems. While the federal government is already integrating AI into systems and
You just
processes,
read the
progress
news,
has been
girl?
slow, and there needs to be more urgency to tap the many benefits that AI can offer. The bipartisan House Task Force on Artificial Intelligence report from last December noted that, quote, each year the federal government spends over $100 billion on information
And I do
technology and
fucking mean it.
cybersecurity. Approximately 80% of this
If
spending
any
goes to
of you
operating
buy
existing
that book,
legacy systems that are typically outdated and
You will
underpinned by
have
archaic
the
software
worst
and hardware
fucking
components.
roast you've ever had in your life.
AI can help address this persistent
My
problem.
shorts will
Last
look
year, the
like
U.S. Chamber of
fucking
Commerce
child
released a
porn.
study on how improved IT processes in 8 agencies already help to, quote, modernize infrastructure, enhance citizen services, improve national security,
There
and
ain't no
foster
fucking
innovation,
way.
and unlock significant long-term cost savings and efficiencies along the way.
I'm sorry, I'm just going to pause it again. There ain't no fucking way. If any of you buy that book, I will shame the living shit out of you. There ain't no way you're going to sit there and tell me that you want to know what the press secretary who thought was going on behind the fucking scenes as she sat with Biden time and time and time again. As she told you, this motherfucker's in perfect health. He's fucking great. And now she's got a tell-all book coming out. It's going to tell you everything that you know to be true because you weren't crazy back then. I do want to say this, though. While I got this pause, this is going to be great. Take away that debt. Look at that dude's chin here. That is a just for men moment, dude. One side, one little streak. Until it all covers, or please don't let this be a thing you actually think looks good. This is a just for men moment. I'm sorry, I got gray in mine. It's all everywhere. I'm going fucking salt and pepper shaker looking motherfucker too. I get you, but what is this? All right. Sorry, I had to go off on that.
Way. Doing more with AI could generate even broader benefits. Accenture estimates that by tapping AI systems, federal agencies could unleash, quote, a productivity windfall for the U.S. government worth up to $532 billion annually by 2028. Just earlier this week, the UK government reported that a new trial of AI tools revealed how civil servants who use them freed up 2 weeks a year in working time, and 82% of them said they wanted to continue to use AI tools to boost their productivity. AI tools can be particularly helpful in simplifying paperwork and procedural hassles. AI has already been used to improve public records management at many different agencies, including document declassification and Freedom of Information Act requests. AI can also help streamline specific regulations and make them more cost.
All right, hold up. Jennifer just sent us something. Let's see.
No, no, no.
Hold on. That is actually friend or fire in action. Though it glitched and it kind of tracked. It got a delay on the signal.
No.
That is friend or fire in action because it was still tracking just in case. Hey, do I fire? Do I fire? What is it? What is this? What's happening? It was tracking.
Effective to ensure greater value to taxpayers. AI is already helping governments better administer various public services, including infrastructure management, public safety efforts, healthcare delivery, environmental monitoring, emergency responses, workforce development, and various other citizen services. As Congress and the executive branch look to continue to clear a path.
Again, I'm going to do it. We're not going to get anywhere in this fucking hearing. I'm going to have to watch this fucking bag. But what the fluff? Anything to make life easier for humans, right? Here's the problem, brother. Evolution is the adaptation of a species to its surroundings, right? So what happens when you get good enough to adapt your surroundings before the species? How do you evolve? Well, it's got to be that point, right? What led you up to get that comfortable? It has to be intelligence. Intelligence pushes you forward to do more things. That's the only way you can advance. What happens when you take that intelligence factor away from it all and then add a computer to do everything for you? We're going to have a Wall-E/Star Trek kind of situation going on. It's fucking frightening.
To efficient government AI uptake,
I'll
the
stop
focus should continue to be on addressing barriers to implementation through 5 main priorities. First, modernize federal acquisition policies to boost AI adoption, especially by encouraging easier acquisition of sophisticated but cost-effective commercial systems.
You're right, I can speed this shit
Second,
up.
streamline paperwork and use requirements associated
Let's
with
do
federal AI
1.5.
contracts
Let's go.
and deployments, especially for small businesses and open source providers. Third, ensure government data sets are AI-ready and interoperable such that the public, researchers, and other organizations can more easily benefit from them. Fourth, enhance in-house government AI talent and improve technical literacy at all levels. And fifth, boost trust and security in government technology.
A little more brain power than I
Congress
need.
has already passed several laws to facilitate some of these goals. And bipartisan efforts by both the Biden and Trump administrations have helped expand those efforts, including through chief AI officers in federal agencies. The OMB recently released very important guidance requiring agencies to, quote, adopt a forward-leaning and pro-innovation approach that takes advantage of this technology to help shape the
All right,
future
Glenn,
of
let
government
me scare you
operations
then.
and, quote, harness solutions that bring
Imagine
the
the
very best value to
pro-Palestine
taxpayers. This committee
motherfuckers
and others should
with
assist
a
these
chip
efforts
in
by
their
helping
brain
the administration ensure that agencies are
called
AI-ready
Neuralink
for the future. That means
on
close
the
oversight of
Starlink
agency
network.
modernization and digitization efforts, plus the necessary
And all
funding
of that
to
is
get the
owned
job
by the
done.
federal fucking
Finally,
government.
Congress should recognize there is an
with
important connection
read-write
between broader AI
capability.
policy and the benefits governments can gain from AI systems. Proposals to regulate AI systems are proliferating
What
rapidly,
up,
with
Zach?
over 1,000
Ben Shapiro
AI-related
mode
bills already
engaged.
introduced just 5 months into 2025. If these mandates expand, they will significantly raise the cost of deploying advanced AI systems because complicated, confusing compliance regimes would hamstring developers, especially smaller ones. A confusing patchwork of state and local red tape will not only undermine the market for commercial systems, but it will also undermine the government's ability to choose from a diverse array of competitive, cost-effective options. One recent study from CCIA reported that federal preemption of state-level AI regulation would benefit the federal balance sheet by up to $269 billion over the next decade by lowering procurement costs for the federal government. Congress needs to protect the interstate marketplace and ensure a robustly innovative and competitive AI ecosystem
With
can develop.
read-write
Some degree of
capabilities,
preemption is needed to achieve this goal and
they'd be
ensure a diverse
they'd be
array
able
of
to
cutting-edge AI
control you
solutions
with it.
are available to government
You wouldn't
agencies
even
and to the
know
public
you're
as
doing it,
consumers of
Glenn.
both private and public services.
What up,
Thank you
KB?
so much for inviting me here today. I look forward to your questions.
Thank you. And Mr. Schneier, you're now recognized for your opening statement.
Thank you, and thanks for inviting me. So I'm a technologist. I've been working in cryptography and cybersecurity since the early 1990s. I write, I teach, I consult, I start companies. I've thought a lot about the role of AI in democratic government. I actually wrote a book on this topic that'll be published in October.
I'm going to say this. I thought this was going to be the witness show myself. Simply because the dude looks insane. He looks at, I was one of the early voters myself. Like I said, I get to play because I haven't seen this. This dude looks fucking insane. Let's see if I'm right.
Previous four speakers have talked about the promises of this technology. I want to talk about the national security implications of the way our country is consolidating data and feeding it to AI models. Chairman Connor said in his statement about this hearing that he wanted to unleash AI responsibly while
This
protecting the interests
reminds
and
me
rights
of
of all
all
Americans.
those
Doge's actions do exactly the opposite. Over the last few months, Doge's affiliates have spread across government. They're still exfiltrating massive U.S. databases, processing them with AI, and offering them to private companies such as Palantir. These actions are causing irreparable harm to the security of our country and to the safety of everyone, including everyone in this room,
I will say
regardless
this.
of political affiliation.
My dad had the
This
same
unprecedented
stares that
security risk is a
Einstein
result of
did.
two things: Doge's sloppy cybersecurity regarding our data and regarding the networks they've accessed, and also the overtrusting of AI, current technology, to take over human tasks.
AOL
You all
hearings.
need to assume that our adversaries have copies of all the data Doge has exfiltrated and have established access into all the networks that Doge has removed security controls from. And your
Goddamn,
data can be
yeah, I
used
do
against you.
remember those.
Right?
Those
Consider the
AOL
coercive
hearings.
power of your financial records, or your medical records, or the government clearance form you filled out. Whoever you think of as your enemy, or an enemy of the United States, they can use this data to coerce you, or a family member, or a member of your staff. And this is true for any elected official, or CEO, or police officer, or
Hold up now. Hold up now. Whoever owing allegiance to the United States levies war against them, or gives aid and comfort to the enemies of the United States is guilty of treason. Again. Sir, unless you want to sit there and say that us as children put our hands over our heart and pledge allegiance because we had to at school as an oath of office, I'm sorry, as an oath of fealty. Whoever owing allegiance to the United States, me as an American citizen, would have to say, you pledge some kind of oath, whether it be military, whether it be government, whether it be public service work, whatever it is, if you pledge fealty to this country beyond school, you're a fucking game. Which is why I can't say the Krasensteins posting 8647 is actual treason.
judge, or nuclear power plant operator. Like,
They
really,
never
it's true
made
for
that oath.
everyone. The more powerful you are, or the more critical your role, the more likely it is that someone will seek to use your data against you.
Yes.
There's also a military concept called preparing the battlefield, which are the things that you do into the enemy in peacetime to make wartime easier.
Yeah.
So China hacking backdoors into our power grid is an example of that.
Yeah.
And preparing to use our data against us is another. So you should assume that any significant military action against the United States will start with every general's bank account being zeroed out. And maybe your bank account's being zeroed out.
Oh, I did.
Because there's nothing more distracting than your distraught
I
families.
damn sure did, Zach.
Data is power. Any entity, government or corporate, that holds individual data has the ability to understand, predict, even manipulate behavior. This is Facebook's business model. Our government collects incredibly intimate data about Americans. but its power is limited by how that data is organized. There was security in our data being spread amongst different government agencies, with different rules governing use and sharing. Using AI to reason across disconnected data stores represents a massive increase in government power and therefore a security threat. Dodge's sloppy security practices also—
I mean, it's not a security threat to government. It is a security threat to American citizens. I will agree with you on that shit. I don't like that shit, but hey, if it's effective to do what it needs to do and then you remove it from the fucking system, great. But then again, there will come to that, hey, it worked there. Why not do it right now? Let's fix all this shit. Oh, it happened. Why not just implement it all together and we just live off what it says?
also means we can't trust the data they're using. Did they make copying mistakes? Did some adversaries slip in bad data? Remember that nonsense about 150-year-olds collecting Social Security? That was someone misunderstanding how the data was encoded. Our adversaries are certainly capable of penetrating the security.
Oh no, they cut a lot of money off of that shit,
gave
sir.
our data to.
You can't try to use
Just
that.
as capable as poisoning our AI systems. Data integrity is vital, and good AI that with bad data makes bad decisions and is untrustworthy. Irreparable damage has already been done, but the damage is ongoing. 2015, China hacked OPM, stole data about all federal workers. That was a major security breach. Continuous real-time access to data is much more dangerous.
Hey, guess what, you stupid son of a bitch? That's where we got the first wind assault typhoon.
The longer these vulnerabilities persist, the more adversaries will be able to manipulate data and install backdoors. The more they'll be able to manipulate the AIs we're creating. And
when it's hard-coded into the fucking circuit board, we got a problem, right, TP-Link?
The more they'll be able to secretly influence our policy outcomes. Sacrificing cybersecurity in an effort to create an AI future not only risks the country, it risks the AIs, which in turn risks our justice system, our legislative system, our banking system, national defense, and all of us, all of you personally. So thank you. And
So you're saying AI is running our life already? God damn, that's comforting, right?
I welcome questions and conversation.
Thank you. I will now recognize Mr. Gosar for 5 minutes.
Thanks, Chairwoman. Ms. Miller, you described the COVID process as a catastrophic event with a high risk of...
This dude was censured in the House because he shared a GIF of a little clip from Attack of Titans of a dude literally beheading a Titan. He was that dude. His face was transposed over that image, and AOC was that Titan that was beheaded. And she said that was an attack on her fucking life, and she was scared of the man. Because he shared that, because he owned her in a fucking committee hearing.
Fraud. I agree. I am the only non-U.S. president in the United States to have ever killed a national emergency. I killed COVID. But there's not a single receipt, though.
She cried. That was a threat on her life.
We've spent over $13 trillion, let me say that again, $13 trillion without a receipt. Could we use AI to examine the funds spent under COVID?
It depends on where that data is available. Certainly, AI can be used to mine any data sets that exist. The question I think you're really asking is whether or not that data exists, and I don't have the answer to that question.
Well, I hope that we'd have some database because we have a record of where it went, supposedly. So
well, yeah, so we have a record of where a lot of the spending went, and of course the Pandemic Response Accountability Committee, the organization that I helped lead, has a lot of that data on their website about
by the
where
way,
money
I
was
need to
spent
end the ball.
during the pandemic. When a lot of that money was stolen, something I talk about a lot, we don't know where that money went. A lot of the money that was stolen during the pandemic.
75% of you said Mr. Shire. 16% said that dude's name. 8% said Miss Miller. 0 said Mr. Shire. Out of the 12 that voted.
Went to overseas foreign adversarial nation states.
So they also could have, how should I say this? If they were recouping, my understanding there was over 2,000 cases in Arizona alone that entities or individuals were actually sued by the government to get it back, resulting in compensation of over $300 million. We could use that as well if it disappeared. Once again, it's based on the data, right?
Yeah, it's based on the data. I don't think I'm qualified to answer that. Thanks.
Okay. Mr. Shaw, you talked about our procurement system.
They heard the goose.
Boy, it's broken. So how would you use AI during that whole process? Because our overruns in our military are outrageous. How can we keep them on track? How does that work?
Yeah, I think there's a variety of things to talk about on that topic.
Fair
One,
enough,
you can use
Buff.
AI to help with the procurement process itself in terms of analyzing vendors, summarizing, submissions, generating use cases and requirements for the different agencies that are looking for new technology. But I think before that, we need to sort of create an environment where these new technologies that can be applied to procurement or anything else in the U.S. government can make their way into these agencies. And I think that's a human process problem that we have an opportunity here in this committee to really kind of provide some oversight and correction so that we can go about delivering these great new technologies into these agencies quickly, right? We've spent years working on this ourselves to try and get into agencies. But if you look at a lot of these procurement, sort of processes, they're multi-year, they're outdated from the 1990s, where essentially, you're thinking about installing software on some server rack that's going to last 5 years, and then it might take 2 years to actually go through the procurement process. This is untenable for young companies who have limited cash, limited capital, who want to be able to monetize their investments and especially help the U.S. government move quickly.
So could you use something like a blockchain? See, I'm not a techie. I got questions. Could you use a blockchain to kind of utilize some? I see you. I'll come back to you in a second, but I want Mr. Shaw. Is there some kind of technology that will help preserve some of this data or save us?
So we do not deploy blockchain technology for our solution. We focus squarely on what employees can benefit from when it comes to using AI to be more productive. So I'm unfortunately not able to answer how blockchain could be used here, but generally speaking, technology has been shown in the private sector to have tremendous impacts on their efficiencies and their ability to stay ahead and to lead in the industry.
Yes, Ms. Miller, I got one more question for you. Could you use AI to audit Medicaid, Medicare, and comparisons with hospital versus hospital?
Yeah, that's a very, very good use case for AI because you can look at, there's a lot of claims data and there's a lot of information on providers, and you can look at all that data using AI very quickly and identify patterns that look suspicious. It's an area that I think really is ripe for a lot of innovation in the space because CMS has the opportunity to really mine a lot of that Medicare and Medicaid data using artificial intelligence to identify taxpayer dollars that are being stolen.
Gotcha. Well, I'm out of time. I yield back.
Thank you. I'll now recognize Mr. Lynch for 5 minutes.
Oh my God, look at that. That is so horrible. Let me take that poll away. There we go. Hold on. I'm going to do this for every speaker. This is for Mr. Lynch. Shall we skip Lynch or no? Go ahead, vote.
5 minutes.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
You got 2 minutes.
Mr. Bakhtari, you mentioned in your testimony the value of educating AI literate workers, right? And Mr. Shah, I think you alluded to the same thing. About 25 years ago, I co-founded a charter school in Boston, a public charter school.
Hey, you got one.
What we did was we saw that most of the jobs that were being created were in math and science and STEM-related industries. So we created this school that doubled or tripled the amount of educational time that students would be exposed to math and science. It's worked very, very well. Those students score very, very high on math and science in the MCAS. Unfortunately, on Monday, the Trump administration rescinded $325 million from the STEM education grants that we provide to feed that type of activity, that sustain a move towards, stronger STEM disciplines within our student bodies. And that was money that was already authorized, so it wasn't, up for debate. This is the stuff we did last year. Is that something that cutting $325 million in?
Ending poll. Skip. 71% of you said yes. We're going to skip Lynch then. Let's go to Higgins. Again, we're going to hit the poll up. This is for Higgins.
Dear, I'm going to be talking with you mostly for the next 5 minutes. So I'd like to dig into the controversies regarding the moratorium section of the BBB legislation currently being considered by Congress. It's across the country as part of the narrative of the discussion of AI, and I believe we have an opportunity today to clarify the intent and the specifics.
I'm sorry. I wish Rumble would fucking put this thing in there for you guys. Play along too.
BBB.
Because I take the medium between you two.
Topic, and please help me to understand, and in doing so, help the nation to understand. Good sir. My read of the actual
20 seconds.
Bill They said to that section in particular, going to the moratorium under the section of artificial intelligence and information technology modernization.
7,
It says
6,
in general,
5.
except as provided in paragraph
3.
2, which is essentially an exception to the moratorium that it allows for the sovereign states to enact and
50-50.
enforce laws that remove
Hold
restrictions.
up. What do I do about a 50-50, guys? To speed it up. Okay, hold on. One 1.5 speed. Let's give you 30 seconds on the clock. 146. Come on, you got 30 seconds. Get that in. 1.5 speed. Oh my God, this is going to be funny as fuck to watch if that's going to be a thing. And voting closed. Where did it go? Wait a minute. Why did that not show? I mean, it was 100% across the fucking board. Did my chat freeze up? Or there it is. Okay. It was 7720. Playback speed 1.5. Let's take it.
Restrictions on use of AI. But the paragraph says in general, except as provided in paragraph 2, no state or political subdivision thereof, quote unquote, may enforce, comma, during the 10-year period beginning on the date of enactment of this bill, any law or regulation of that state. So my read is that the state is not restricted from debating and considering and voting on and passing and using their legislative bicameral body in each sovereign state to debate and vote on and pass laws regarding AI, and for that governor to sign that law. The big, beautiful bill in this section states that the federal government is asking for a pause on enforcement. Am I right or wrong? And please embellish.
Yeah, thank you, Congressman, for the question. I testified about this in front of Energy and Commerce Committee just 2 weeks ago where there was a debate about the AI moratorium, and it's important to keep in mind that the reconciliation bill.
I want to hear what he's got to say. I'm sorry. Hold up.
Am I right or wrong? And please embellish.
Yeah, thank you, Congressman, for the question. I testified about this in front of Energy and Commerce Committee just 2 weeks ago where there was a debate about the AI moratorium, and it's important to keep in mind that the reconciliation bill includes specific funding to modernize Department of Commerce technology systems, and there's a concern among members about exactly how that can happen if there's a whole host of conflicting laws at the
right,
state
and the so-called moratorium is under that section.
That's correct.
Please continue.
And so therefore that would prohibit certain AI-specific types of regulations at the state and local level.
It would prohibit the enforcement
yes,
of state-authored regulations.
That are AI-specific regulations. It very specifically says that laws of general applicability are not to be covered by this, also criminal activity not covered. And so there are some important exceptions to this, and states are going to be free to continue to act on a lot of these different things.
So this moratorium, in the interest of time, just to clarify for the country, sir, this moratorium does not restrict the sovereign state's right to debate, vote on, and enact new AI legislation within that state. It's the moratorium is asking the states to recognize that AI by nature is interstate commerce, and under this section for modernization of the Commerce Department of the reconciliation bill, we're stating that the states should refrain from enforcement of new AI laws. Is that correct?
Yeah, yes.
No. Hold up. He's got an actual point. He's got a point, because if something is going to be taken to an international level, every state should not be able to regulate how it's used in their area. Okay, I understand the argument.
Congressman, and specifically what you said about protection of the interstate national marketplace is really crucial, and it reflects the broader consensus of Congress going back over the last 30 years about the internet and technology more broadly, that there does need to be somewhat of a national framework and make sure that we don't have a parochial patchwork that will interfere with the free flow of algorithmic commerce and speech.
Okay, that was a squared away explanation. I thank the gentleman. Madam Chair, I yield.
Thank you, Mr. Higgins. I will now recognize Ms. Norton for 5 minutes.
All right. Start poll again. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this when we do committee hearings. You all have control of it. Do we skip Miss Norton or do we not?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Government must leverage the best technology possible to meet the ever-changing needs of the people it serves. From the creation of the National Postal Service to the discoveries that led to the internet, the federal government has a long history of embracing new technology to better deliver for our constituents. But our North Star must always be service to the American people, not tax breaks for billionaires or backroom deals to benefit the richest man in the world at public expense. As we discuss the use of artificial intelligence in government, we must have people at the center of the conversation, including the people we represent and federal workers who serve our country. AI is a tool that can empower our public servants, but it is not a substitute for...
Okay. In the poll, let's see what we got. 80% said yes, 20% said no. Out of 10 votes, that said 2 said no. Link is in the description. If you guys want to hear this yourselves, go ahead. But we skipping Ms. Norton. Uh-oh.
A hearing on the so-called DeepSeek moment, and we saw at filling gap
to get something on the
America being made was testified as a Chinese Communist Party.
And thanks to our witnesses for.
Then a constituent.
Mr. Thier.
All right. Here we go. We're going to do it again, ladies and gentlemen. This is for Ms. Fox.
The Trump administration has expressed a goal for the United States to maintain its dominance in AI. Why is it important for the United States to maintain its dominant position in AI?
Thank you for the question, Congresswoman. As you've heard here today from several witnesses, we're in a serious race with China and the Chinese Communist Party for AI supremacy globally. And the broad-based ramifications of who wins that race are significant for our, not just our geopolitical security, but also our values broadly as a nation and for the world. And so there's a real danger that if we don't get AI policy right as a nation, that China will take the lead. Its products will diffuse throughout the world faster, and we're already seeing this. I was testifying earlier this year at a hearing on the so-called DeepSeek moment, and we saw, surprised a lot of us, including me, how advanced these Chinese systems are today and how effective they've been at filling gaps globally that America is not there to fill at the moment.
Thanks. I do think the answer is pretty obvious, but it was important to get something on the record.
Sure.
How has the Trump administration approach to AI differed from the previous Biden administrations, and why is the departure from the Biden administration's AI policy necessary? Mr. Thier.
I'm going to pause it right there. Let's pull the poll. All right. 30 seconds on the fucking clock, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to hear it, we're choosing speed too. Poll is going up. 1.5 speed, 30 seconds on the clock, and hit it. Oh, this is going to be fun. This is going to be fun with the YouTube side. I'm sorry, Rumble. I'm sorry. Y'all need to reach out to Rumble and say we need to be taking polls and shit. And we done? Yes, 83%. No, it's 16. Sorry, we going 1.5 speed. I got to take a piss. I'll be right back. This is fun.
Well, the Biden administration approach was very voluminous in terms of rulemaking. You know, obviously, executive order, longest in American history on AI, over 110 pages. And a lot of it was very fear-based, unfortunately, and didn't embrace the technology as much as the new Trump administration executive order and subsequent orders have done. And so I think there's been a real sea change of approach here in terms of understanding the benefits associated with AI technologies broadly.
Thank you. Mr. Shaw, your company's been successful at streamlining certain administrative tasks for businesses in the private sector and helping boost productivity. How do you see AI technologies like those developed by your company being effectively used in the federal government? And what kinds of productivity gains and cost savings could we expect to see?
Thank you for the question. To put it in maybe legislative terms, imagine you had an assistant that could summarize the status of a bill, perhaps maybe look up a constituent problem that you've been tackling before a meeting, or be able to search all of your notes and your memos about various committee hearings and tasks that have been assigned. All these things are things that AI gives us today, and the private sector is using this quite aggressively to make their own teams more efficient and effective. To your question about sort of what that looks like, there's sort of three categories I like to think about. Scale. Broadcom, for example, was able to go from 10,000 employees to 50,000 while keeping the same support staff. So that's another benefit, which is you can take the same team and allow them to support a lot more employees in this case, but in our case here today talking about constituents. I think there's also employee time savings. The city of Glendale, I mentioned, did a 500% plus ROI on their investment, but that was 3,500 hours of savings from the employees themselves that they could apply and use towards other tasks and functions for their constituents. And then, of course,
I didn't ignore shit. That's some straight up bullshit, Jennifer. Look, the skip Miss Fox, the 62% said no. But did we play at 1.5 speed? 83% said yes.
Of course, there's monetary savings, which is that if we can do some of this more efficiently, that goes back to the U.S. taxpayers, goes back into the economy to get spent on further innovation.
Thank you very much. Ms. Miller, according to the Office of Management and Budget, each year taxpayers provide more than $1.2 trillion, or nearly 5% of GDP in funding for thousands of programs across the entire government through grants and other financial assistance. With so much taxpayer money spent, it should come as no surprise that besides a very high-level accounting, the federal government largely cannot tell whether a particular grant award was used wisely or if it accomplished the stated goals of the grant program. This committee has worked on legislation such as my bill from 2019, the GREAT Act, to address the problem, but as we've discovered, there's not enough data available in the proper formats to evaluate whether taxpayer funds given out as grants are being used wisely. How could AI help us solve this problem and make sure that every taxpayer dollar given as a grant is used effectively and for its stated purpose?
Thanks for the question. Actually, we did something pretty innovative with my technology company, TrackLight. We were trying to figure out who one of the agencies that we were working with paid. And so we got access to minutes of board meetings, and then we used AI to scrape those minutes and identify vendors. And then we were able to collect hundreds of vendors that this agency was paying that they didn't know they were paying. Now, we can all talk about how insane it is that the agency doesn't know who they're paying, which is a serious problem. But there is ways, there are ways that AI can help solve this problem and start to sort of piece together who these grants are going to. And it's incredibly important for taxpayers to know that information.
It would be nice if we could just search things on Fireside. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Thank you. And I'll now recognize Mr. Mfume for 5 minutes.
Madam Chair.
All right, we gonna pause it right here. We got a new one coming up. This is for Mr. Mfume. Sip? Skip. This is for Mr. Mfume. You got 1 minute on the clock.
Woman, thank you very much. My thanks to the guests who have come today. One of the things that strikes me about this hearing is that we don't have enough time.
AI representation.
And, we're all trying to get a lot in here, so I will certainly use the
from your fucking federal government
questions for the record for 5 business days, because there are a number of you. Mr. Shaw, in particular, I want to ask some questions of you through that process. And Mr. Schneier, your testimony was chilling, to say the very least, so hopefully we can talk about that. But Ms. Miller, I'd like to start with you. Much of your work focuses on fraud prevention. And before we get to that, I'd like to go back to something that I heard that was just as chilling, and that was your description of these outdated privacy laws, which don't afford any protection whatsoever to what's happening now in 2025 at the rapid pace of this technology and its development. It's very scary to believe and to hear, quite frankly, that we are behind in that, because the privacy of Americans.
Do we skip Mr. Mfume? 85% said yes. Again, if you want to hear these, ladies and gentlemen, the link is in the description. I'm doing this because I got a hard out at 9 o'clock, or well, 9:30. I got to get out of here at 9:30, but I want to hear some of these, and I want to see, kind of want to gauge how y'all think too. All right, so this is for Mr. Sessions. This is a white-haired gentleman. 1 minute.
And good morning to each of the panel members. We appreciate you being here. A long time ago, I spent time at Bell Labs, where we were responsible for the network architecture, but also the development of the switch that would be utilized. We set standards and did things to where we had unified way to look at how switch operated. We both know we had Salt and Volt Typhoon, whereby our government people learned that the Chinese had been into our cyber, our databases for a long time. Should have found it, didn't find it, cost us. My question really is, I'm sure each one of you have an answer for this, or at least your vision of that. All it takes is one node to be compromised. It's like a big fence that goes around. It just takes one loose place. Does the federal government, do we here in Congress need to ask someone Do we need to deal with other countries? Does there need to be a standards body that specifically, like when I worked at the labs, to set what those standards are? How do we avoid, with all the things we're doing, getting something that happens like that again? Sir?
Do we skip? 66% said no, 33% said yes. Give you the guys the option of the speed. Are we doing it? He's been at 1.5 already. You know what? Fuck it. We'll stay at 1.5. This will be the last poll. Well, we'll do the skips. But this will be the last speed poll. Is that Jeff Sessions' son? No, that's Mr. Sessions. Just screw it. We don't care about speed. We've been at 1.5 speed. We got used to it. Let's go.
Sir, evidently you've got your hand on the panel first.
Any ideas? I didn't know this was Jeopardy, that you had to be quick.
Well, okay, then we can go to you last if you want. But my point is, do you have any ideas on this question?
So we have things. I mean, this is the job of the NSA. Right? We have security organizations in the United States whose job is to protect American data. And I think we do actually do a pretty good job. And we have problems that a lot of data is in private hands. That, right now, if you think about just the Defense Department, there are thousands of networks, but there are rules. And, I think we're doing okay. I don't think we need an international standard. I mean, this is very much United States. I mean, NATO does things together, so there are groups. But this isn't like a corporate security thing where we need an international standard. Everyone's consistent. The U.S. has U.S. problems, U.S. adversaries, and we do have U.S. solutions.
No, that's not Jeff Sessions.
We also have battleships and aircraft carriers that are out in the middle of places. Anyone else? Thank you, sir.
Sessions. Oh, that's
I think,
the reason.
What we've seen, especially in cybersecurity, the NIST has created standards there that became adopted by a majority of the industry. And I think when it comes to AI and protecting data, coming from the lens of a startup, from a young company, we've looked at the new standards that they have around AI, and they're actually pretty good. And they do provide for a lot of recommendations that we actually follow. And then furthermore, going through the FedRAMP process, while I found it to be very expensive, there was a lot of amazing sort of things that they recommended in terms of infrastructure, software, process, and procedures that allow us to really make sure that the data is secured. And so I think that if we can have more of these types of frameworks, more of a lighter touch, it'll allow us to continue to innovate fast, but still give us all a true north of where we should take things in terms of our infrastructure and our processes.
Sir?
So I would say three things. Number one, just to follow on Mr. Shah's point, I think NIST is well positioned for this. I think the remissioning of the Safety Institute by the Department of Commerce 2 days ago that will focus on really building the standards across our federal government and how they use AI is a step forward. Also looking at, open source models coming from countries of concern, specifically China, and what kind of a risk they possess in our ecosystem. I think that's the right step to do it. At the allies and partners levels, as I mentioned in my opening remarks, the Five Eye Alliance really provides us with a stepping stone of, coming with some common standards among our Five Ally partners, and then start bringing other countries under the fold. And the third piece, as Mr. Shah mentioned here earlier, what can we do on the offensive side? So our adversary doesn't get a hold of our data, they don't use it against us, and then actually we put them on the back foot instead of letting them, really attack us on a daily and hourly basis.
Good. Anyone else?
Just very briefly, sir, I just want to put in a good word for what the Trump administration has been doing with its recent executive orders and OMB guidance on this front, which has been to provide not only a framework for expanding the use of AI throughout government, but also getting more serious about security vulnerabilities and other types of concerns. And recent OMB guidances like M25-21 and 22 basically try to address these concerns you're raising.
Great. Thank you. I appreciate the panel very much. Madam Chair, I yield back.
Thank you. I'll now recognize Ms. Brown for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Right. This is Summer Lee Brown.
Chair, I'm glad this committee is finally turning its attention to the federal government's use of artificial intelligence because under President Trump, AI isn't being used to serve the people, it's being abused to serve the powerful. DOGE was a reckless, unregulated, and unethical failure. And I wouldn't be surprised if some of my colleagues on the other side quietly agree now that Elon Musk is out here trashing their one big ugly bill. So let's be clear about how we got here. Musk and his cronies were handed the keys to our government's data, let loose to sidestep security safeguards, strip away federal jobs, and exploit Americans' personal information unchecked and unaccountable. They used AI as a blunt force tool to slash thousands of federal jobs and gut billions in government spending with no transparency or regard for the human costs. But that's not even the most dangerous part. DOGE has launched an unprecedented power grab over Americans' personal data. Earlier this year, reports surfaced that a DOGE staffer with no credentials and no clearance reportedly accessed Americans' personal information and shared private data with third parties. I co-led a letter with Reps Trahan and Del Bene demanding an investigation, and it might not come as a surprise that we're still waiting for answers. And we now know this wasn't a one-off.
Looks like we skip and 85% said yes. You should be 86%. I don't know why I said 85, but Who are you? Oh, Mr. Biggs. Mr. Biggs is up next. I'm not going to make you capitalize anymore.
So Scottsdale and Glendale are actually using AI, perhaps becoming a hub of AI anyway, using it to become more efficient. Can you expand on that for us? Tell us what they're doing, and then the guidelines and guardrails that they have in place.
Yeah, it's a great question. So, in terms of the cities and counties that have started to adopt this technology, they're using it to make their employees more effective. What does that mean? That means that they can self-serve a lot more use cases than they would have otherwise. They can find information, they can troubleshoot issues that they might be having with IT or even an HR situation or use case. They can submit performance reviews. They can do a variety of tasks that were otherwise very manual and very slow and required a lot of coordination amongst folks. And so this, as I mentioned earlier, City of Glendale in Arizona is saving their employees 3,500 hours now. Each month, being able to now do more with those same team members to support the employees or the constituents of their county. And so I think that we see this across the private sector. We've seen people use this technology to enable more employees to do greater levels of work and greater levels of output while still sort of maintaining all the privacy and the security that's required in any of those environments.
Thanks for that. Mr. Schneier was talking about the laws that have been placed to protect privacy rights, and they've been in place for a long time, largely ignored from both parties, quite frankly, in my opinion. But what I want to get to is something that Mr. Bajrakatari said when you started talking about the Five Eyes community. And I just came from another hearing where one of the issues that we're having is
No. Hold on. He said Five Eyes.
Is that pursuant to the Cloud Act, the UK is trying to get backdoor hacks into
Right.
Apple. And they're claiming that they have some kind of robust privacy protection there. But the reality is they won't disclose what that robust privacy protection is, and they're keeping the entire process closed, obscured. And so I'm curious about how we can fully work with the Five Eyes community in the development of AI and yet protect the fundamental rights of American citizens. And so I'm going to ask you that question.
Thank you, sir. Great question.
That is amazing. That is a great fucking question. I've been wondering that myself, but come on. Don't fail me, dude. I don't know who the fuck you are or what you are, but don't fail me.
We have created the Five Eye community during the Cold War because one of the ways we could share more and fast and be ahead of what Soviet Union was doing was, being able to share with our allies and partners. I think there needs to be a starting point in how we confront China today. I don't think we can confront China alone without bringing, our closest allies under the fold. The speed and scale of how China adopts and uses AI for national security purposes is really breathtaking. So my point is we should start with a community of the most trusted allies and partners we have.
So my question is, though, when you have essentially the abuse of rights that we're seeing through the abuse of the agreement, the cloud agreement between U.S. and UK, can you fully trust the Five Eyes to work together on this? And that's...
Yeah, I understand concerns. I think we have to work really closely with them to remove obstacles because I think the challenge we face ahead of us is that if we don't find a common language and build common security protocols, I think we would have a different world by the end of this decade. A world in which CCP will probably have access to all our data, the entire global infrastructure will depend on the CCP, and the company is subsidized by Chinese. So we have to find a way.
Right. Because with us agreeing on common laws and ethics across just us ourselves, China's going to say, no, fuck you. It's going to be able to bully you into submission. China wins on the AI front. Why? Because they're aggressive. And we want to play, hey, we might hurt somebody's fucking feelings. We don't need this.
Ways to remove these obstacles with our closest allies.
I don't disagree with that. It's just... we need to make changes right now, and we're not making changes fast enough, and we're not implementing anything fast enough. So I'm going to ask unanimous consent to enter into the record the bill text from a new Arizona law passed earlier this month to close dangerous loophole that allowed predators to use AI and digital editing tools to create child sexual abuse material that appears real but depicts no actual child. It was HB 2678, sponsored by House Republican Majority Whip Julie Willoughby, and it updates state law to ensure AI-generated and digitally altered images that are indistinguishable from real minors carry the same criminal penalties as those involving actual children. I'd like to submit.
No objection.
I also ask for unanimous consent to enter into the record an article discussing how my home state of Arizona is taking steps to allow AI to flourish, showcasing that states can handle AI regulation responsibly and reap the economic benefits.
No objection.
Thank you.
Hold up. That's kind of a hard one. Porn has literally destroyed man. Readily access available. You can find whatever you want. You go down that rabbit hole, you get into kinkier and kinkier shit to get your rocks off. And because you do that, women aren't with it. And you fall back into that. As fucked up as it is to ask, could AI generated child porn be an effective treatment? I still say no, and I still agree with it because it shouldn't exist in the first fucking place. That is disgusting as fuck. But see, that's an ethical question. Because if you had access to whatever the fuck you wanted, whenever the fuck you wanted, most heinous shit wouldn't exist. Or so you think. But what happens when that monster doubles down and that AI prawn? I just censored myself. What the fuck? That AI porn isn't enough. You've already taken a monster and mutated it into the devil.
All right, I'll now recognize Ms. Stansberry for 5 minutes.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. And I want to say thank you to the entire panel for your recommendations this morning. My background's actually in the sciences, and I've worked a lot of my career. I've worked on...
I'm sorry, Stansberry. I squirreled myself out on that one. Stansberry, do we skip? Ladies and gentlemen.
Natural and earth sciences most of my career, including on big data and modeling. So I do appreciate much of what the recommendations are that have come from our experts. But I'm especially grateful that you're here, Mr. Thier, because when the huge abomination of a bill, I'll call it, came down the pike, my eye actually caught the specific language and funding appropriation in the bill that you referenced in your testimony. And I think many of us were confused about where it came from, what its intent is, and this is the first time I've had the opportunity to actually ask some questions, so I'm glad you're here. And as I understand it from my look into your background, that you've actually been directly involved in developing this language and request, is that correct?
Not that language. I've written about moratoria in the past, though, going back to the 1990s when I worked with Congress on the Internet Tax Freedom Act.
Got it. Okay. So you mentioned that...
Looks like we skipping her. I'm sorry, Stansberry. Not sorry, though. Because goddamn, you are a raging fucking lunatic.
And I'll recognize.
What question?
Who is this for?
You,
okay,
Sharon.
Mr. Perry.
With that, I yield back.
Mr. Perry. Do we skip Perry or not?
Thank you, and I'll recognize Mr. Perry for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and ladies and gentlemen, thanks for making the trip and being here. I'm not sure what questions I have for you, but I do want to make everybody aware of some things that I am aware of. I'm going to refer directly to an AI safety firm named Palisade Research and another one named Apollo Research. We talk about things like the fact that the Chinese Communist Party likes to pollute the available information in the world with all kinds of things that support the Communist Party of China's view of the world and not the free world's. And with that having been said, I suspect that all of you are aware of the times that when various AI has been tested. I'll give you a couple names: Codex Mini, OpenAI Model 03, OpenAI Model 04, and other ones. The AI has chosen on occasion to further its goals as opposed to the goals of the people that wrote the code.
Do we skip? Nope. 86% said no. Let's go.
And on occasion, how about the instance where Anthropic's Claude 4 model attempted to blackmail the people it believed were trying to shut it down, and then it would ignore, and other ones would ignore shutdown commands, even when told in advance that shutdown commands were coming, and went as far as to rewrite itself and preserve itself on a different server to avoid the commands of the humans in charge of it. Now, that might seem,
Pre-game, we
that might
covered
seem
it.
like the view of a Luddite, but I mean, I've got pages and pages of AI deliberately disabling various developer-installed oversight mechanisms, shutdown commands.
That's what he's talking about, RP.
Ignored, replicating itself, preserving itself without the user even knowing. Now, let me be clear. I think that the United States of America has to win the race and be preeminent in AI. But I also think, while I sit on the Oversight Committee, that knowing these things are occurring during tests, that us encouraging as a committee or as a Congress the use of these systems in places like nuclear security or national security without having these pretty obvious things worked out is dangerous, like at a minimum, like is almost, I can't even believe we're having the conversation. Like, how in the hell are we in here telling everybody that we've got to incorporate this into the federal government, state government, all levels of government, including like national defense, nuclear security, when we know these things are occurring? And I don't know which one of you to ask. You all seem to be all for AI, and I get it's your vocation, your passion, et cetera. But we got a duty here on this committee and in this Congress to make sure that the right thing happens. And, you know, humans, Americans, are supposed to be in charge of the government, not some machine that learned from another machine that picked up data that was polluted with Chinese propaganda and is going to like push the button for us. Ms. Miller, you seem interested. I have a minute left. What do you got?
Well, this is a real concern, and GAO and other standard-setting entities have been really pushing for responsible AI frameworks. And this is one of those reasons why when we talk about AI, you can get a bunch of people in a room that are like, go, 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 lean in, you know, do more adoption, faster, faster. But it's so important to think about these safeguards and how important they are. Responsible AI is incredibly important when we're dealing with national security information and American citizens' information that could threaten the actual, you know, safety and security of American citizens. And so it's incredibly important that we are slow and deliberate enough, and that is one of the reasons why GAO and others have put out these frameworks. And it's really important. I agree with you. As this oversight.
So, are you saying that the frameworks deal adequately with these things, or what am I missing?
Well, I'm saying that if they're considered and carefully rolled out, then those concerns will be at least taken into consideration. I do think there's a lot of risk in AI, and we should, I agree with you, consider where we want to apply this and where we want to.
So, ma'am, I have a little bit of time left, and I just want to say this. I think for me, it's beyond consideration. Like, before we hand this thing the nuclear codes, I don't want it to be considered. I want to know the damn stuff is right, not polluted with Chinese communist facts or their alleged version of the facts, and that the thing's not going to avoid the humans and avoid, detection and all that stuff. Madam Chair, I would like to enter into the record, or request that be entered into the record, Apollo Research's report titled "Frontier Models Are Capable of In-Context Scheming," published on January 16th, 2025. And I ask that be
No objection.
Thank you. I
Right.
yield.
Thank you. I'll recognize Ms. Randall for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
All right, Ms. Randall, are you on the chopping block or are you not? I guarantee you we're going to hit Byron Donalds. Motherfuckers always got some good shit. Are you on the chop or are you not?
And thank you to our witnesses today for being here, maybe longer than you even planned. Mr. Perry mentioned some of the important reasons that AI use in the federal government is responsible for the lives and livelihoods of so many more individuals than, one of us asking ChatGPT a question, for our own purposes. And we've seen some examples of potential federal
that
government
somebody's
uses
voting no
of
every time.
AI that have
That's the motherfucker
gone
that
wrong.
wants to learn.
Mr. Schneier, Elon Musk and Doge have tried to throw AI at problems throughout the government with no regard to Americans' privacy, safety, and security, no regard to the 27,000 federal employees who I represent, and to, don't seem to be able to parse the.
Are we done with you? 82% said yes. Who are you? Oh, Bubbles is next. Ladies and gentlemen, Bubbles is up. Mr. Burleson. Well, I got that going once I get back to it. Yeah, here we go.
Thank you, Madam Chair, for holding this very critical hearing on the federal government in the age of artificial intelligence. As we explore the AI's ability to transform this economy and the potential that it has to enhance federal program efficiency, combat fraud, and deliver better services to the American
Tell me he
people, we
doesn't
must
look like
address a fundamental
Bubbles from
challenge
Trailer Park
to
Boys.
this, and that is our federal procurement system. Our current system is riddled with barriers, lengthy certification processes, complex reseller networks, and multi-year contract vehicles that prevent agencies from accessing innovations or AI solutions, particularly from smaller companies. This procurement challenge not only hinders efficiency, but also threatens America's global leadership in AI. In the last Congress, the 118th Congress, my bill, the FIT Procurement Act, was reported favorably out of this committee and then successfully passed the House with bipartisan support last year. I will be introducing the FIT Procurement Act again shortly. But let me point out that my bill directly tackles our outdated federal procurement.
All right, let's see what we got. Are we passing in Burleson? No. Somebody actually voted yes on Mr. Bubbles here.
Procurement system. This act streamlines
Somebody's
federal
just being
acquisition to empower
contrarian, I
agencies to
think.
further acquire cutting-edge commercial technologies like AI.
Either that,
It does this by simply
or we got a troll in
raising
the
the
chat
simplified
that's just
acquisition
not
threshold
popping out
from
because
$250,000 to $500,000, increasing the micro purchase
you don't want
threshold
that
from
ash
10K
trash.
to 25K, and allowing advanced payments for subscription-based
I gotta pee.
software, which is what we see so readily today that the federal government is not able to take advantage of. With unanimous bipartisan support in the last Congress, this act is a proven common sense reform to modernize government, save taxpayer dollars, and reposition the United States as a continued leader in the AI-driven future. And I look forward to hearing from our witnesses about that. So let me begin. Mrs. Miller, in your testimony, you discuss why agencies should buy commercial technology rather than build custom code. As someone who was an in-house custom coder, I couldn't agree with you more. Could you follow up and elaborate on that?
Yeah, sure. Well, the point I was making in my testimony about that was that it creates technical debt when you're creating your code yourself. And because AI is moving so quickly, frequently it'll be obsolete soon after it's built. And so it makes sense to contract with vendors who have more updated tools. I would just add that the bill that you're referring to, given my own small company's challenges getting access to small pilot projects and proofs of concept, given those very low thresholds, this would be very beneficial to small, innovative technology companies.
Thank you. I don't have to now ask my follow-up question. Is it true that AI can be used to detect fraud in the grant process effectively?
Yeah, there's so many great use cases
Could you
for
imagine
AI
if
in
we
the fraud
did this
space when
for
it comes to
every damn
grants.
one
We
of
can scan through information using open source
Just sit here
intelligence.
and do
AI
this on
models, large
committee
language
days.
models can sort that information incredibly quickly within
All day.
seconds and spot anomalies
That's all
humans
we
would
do.
not be able to spot. Even if we were, a lot of times what is happening today are grant processors are pulling up Google and opening up different screens and looking for things on different sites. Sometimes they have access to open source intelligence tools, but they're still manually checking for that. AI makes that incredibly quick.
Thank you. Mr. Shaw, you've highlighted the federal government's procurement problem in their process. Based on your experience, direct experience, do you believe that changes to the procurement process allowing agencies to pilot products like yours before going enterprise-wide would allow smaller companies like you to
That
better compete
necklace
for
looks like brass
contracts?
knuckle.
Yes, we believe that strongly. I think there's a variety of ways to do that. One, creating more POC type programs. A good example is the, I think it's called the Investment Horizon pilot program that the Office of the CIO of the Navy has implemented. But the challenge is every agency seems to have their own set of ways that they procure new technology. So to the extent that we can help to normalize that will help us also navigate.
He's in
For
the YouTube
example,
side.
through the FedRAMP process that I've described, of the 8.5 million, 600,000 I spent on consultants to help me figure out the process.
Just to get certified.
Yeah, so it's like, I couldn't have spent that on maybe more innovation or other areas. So I think that if you have innovator programs or ways for us to start with other agencies that are less security focused, will be a big help.
Is it safe to say the federal government is a pain in the ass?
Fleshlight.
It is a complex web, and if you ever want to do a secret
fleshlight,
shopper with me
Jennifer.
one day, and you can sort of watch how this plays out, I'd be very happy to show you what it looks
Thank
like.
you.
I yield back.
All right, now I will now recognize Mr. Garcia for 5 minutes.
Thank you.
I already know how this is going to go. A lot of you know him already. This is for Mr. Garcia. Ladies and gentlemen, you got a minute?
Madam Chairwoman, thank you to our witnesses for being here today. I want to just start by noting that we know that certainly AI can be an important tool for our federal government, for our federal workforce. We always want to make sure that we're centering those that are working in our government and uplift the work that our federal workers do every single day. But we know that AI can navigate and help government become more efficient and intuitive in many cases. I think we should be honest about that. It can also help constituents get services faster. I've seen this happen at the local level. I've seen it happen, of course, and then happening at the state level and here in Congress as well. We also know that many agencies just need to move more quickly, be more efficient. And AI can be a tool when you respect the federal workforce and work with the federal workforce on how we make these implementations happen. AI can also be used, of course, on issues around red tape. I saw this happening in cities across the United States. And we can analyze data better and faster. We can also work to empower our federal workforce in ways that they can use AI to help them do their jobs. And I think that's an important piece of this.
10 seconds.
It's also clear, though, that AI can be incredibly dangerous, incredibly disruptive, and certainly without guardrails can cause real harm to the American public and to the work that we're all trying to do. Now,
that's it for you, Mr. Garcia. Again, ladies and gentlemen, probably around $1,500 to $2,000 of your money. This one's gonna be interesting. I kind of would have already think of how this is going out here. This is for Mr. Grothman.
To stop work at more.
Losing half behind it. Happy sort of.
Let me find his opening. Here we go.
Reports that are false. And with that, I yield back. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll now recognize Mr. Grothman for 5 minutes.
Minute.
Thank you. I'll start with Ms. Miller. In your testimony, you noted the government loses more than $500,000 to fraud every year. Given that astonishing amount, what can the federal government learn from the private sector? Because we know the private sector wouldn't put up with that, right?
Yeah, it's $500 billion, and it is an astounding amount. What we can learn from the private sector is, and this I frequently say this when people ask me this question. You know, a bank invests in fraud prevention technology because they know that they're going to save more money with that investment than they are going to spend on the tool.
Yes,
a private
Wes.
sector company would never spend money on something it wasn't going to have a better return on investment. But in the government, because fraud is deceptive and we don't see it, we don't invest in anything to try to stop it. And so it's this sort of happy sort of story that agency leaders can tell them, because if they don't go looking for fraud, they don't find it, and then they don't have to invest in technology to prevent it. And so then you have GAO coming out and saying, hey, we're actually losing $500 billion a year or more, I believe it's more, to fraud, and the agencies are not being held accountable.
I'll give you a kind of related question.
Wow. Rothman's off the case. All right. This one may be even bigger surprise. This is Ro Khanna, ladies and gentlemen. I will start when I find his opening.
Of course, you have been such a successful entrepreneur and leader in Silicon Valley. Appreciate your being here. So I'll answer my first question to you. How do you think AI can help, particularly government employees, do better and be more effective in their work?
Yeah, thank you. You know, the things that we're seeing in the private sector today with large organizations like Honeywell and like, you know, Northrop Grumman or and the likes, they're benefiting from AI by making their employees be able to self-serve, get information that they're looking for, and take actions across a variety of systems. You know, on any given day, an employee might have to swivel their chair 17 times to use different tools.
10 seconds.
And that becomes a very wasteful portion of their day, sometimes many hours. And so to the extent that we can start to do that for federal workers, for all.
Come on, one more. You can't leave it 50-50. Come on. God, Jesus Christ. You know what? End it right there. Respect is due. I will actually override and throw mine into that on the no category. I'm sorry. Deluxe with the $10 here. Child mind molesters, round 2. There.
All folks who work for this government, I think we're going to
Now,
see
Glenn,
some
that was
benefits,
actually to
benefits
get
that
that
will allow
through.
them to troubleshoot, to have better IT.
It surprised me
benefits
that
will accrue to them
molesters
from an HR
was a
perspective
thing
in terms
to
of
actually be
getting the information they
super
need,
chatted.
making the changes, the benefit selections that go into that, and also be able to work across different systems without having to be an expert. I think one of the things that you all have pointed out, there's hundreds of enterprise systems inside the government, and you may only touch it once a year, twice a year. And so if you can use AI as the overlay, kind of that front door, what you'll see is your staff and all the members of the federal government be able to navigate these systems which can be very complex very easily, using the most intuitive interface in the world, which is language and conversation. So when it comes to that, we've seen companies in our sort of world of private sector be able to reclaim, top 5 pharmaceutical was able to reclaim 75,000 hours of employee productivity by deploying this kind of AI across 44 languages. We've had a Fortune 500 aerospace manufacturer reclaim 75% of its support budget to be able to bring in technologies and leverage. So I think that you're going to see both happier employees and better outcomes while also making the government more efficient.
And this is for anyone on the panel. How would you address people's concerns about AI displacing jobs, being something that will lead to layoffs or people not being able to work?
I'm happy to start.
By the way, why I said this, Elf, check the shorts. Richard White. Richard White spoke up for Ro Khanna. And he has a point. This was the only motherfucker, Republican and Democrat, to know about the backdoor situation in all of big tech. And he said, this is a First Amendment violation. I want nothing to do with it.
I think it's going to happen.
Reason
and it's
is
not going to be the jobs we think.
Is
it's
the reason
like
for the season?
Lawyers. And that's going to be hard.
I'm not going to stay with
a lot of these
Ro Khanna,
professions
though.
are apprentice professions. And where do the senior partners come from if low-level lawyers or low-level doctors are being replaced by AI? Something society has to think about, whether there'll be new jobs. In all previous revolutions, there have been new jobs to replace old jobs. This might be different. That's why you see a lot of talk about AGI. About universal basic income, UBI. Like, is this going to be different, where we need to figure out how to give people the ability to survive? And we don't know. We don't know a lot of these things. So those are very real fears, and I think we as society should think about them before they happen. We're not good at that, but we should.
Go ahead.
Congressman, just briefly, I'd just point out that there's been a lot of government reports on this issue and a lot of efforts about government retraining and so on and so forth. It's very hard to have a crystal ball to predict the jobs and skills that are needed in the future. But I'll just point out that just 10 years ago, everyone was predicting a whole bunch of jobs that would be dislocated. The most famous one at number 1 was going to be radiologists. And just a couple weeks ago, the New York Times ran a piece that basically say there's more radiologists than ever, and they're utilizing AI to improve their jobs and free up time to do better things. And that's the story of technological change in sector after sector, is that we sometimes don't understand how complex human-machine interactions work and actually can change jobs for the better and improve the employment output over time.
I agree with being a technology optimist. I will say, though, that the unemployment rate for people between the ages of 21 and 29 these days with a college degree is 15%.
Jennifer, for the two, couldn't type treason
the challenge,
in
I
SC
think,
last
as
year.
Mr.
You could.
Schneier pointed out, is how, especially at the entry level, for people, particularly with college degrees, how
I
we're
was
gonna create
actually
these
shadow
jobs
banned for a couple of days
and
in
how we're
Rab's
gonna be able
chat
to
because
use
of
the
that.
tools of AI to be effective. But I appreciate all of your thinking on this, and appreciate your being here for your testimony. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll now recognize Mr. Donalds for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I think it's actually a good jumping off point from my colleagues' comments about potential concerns of displacement. I think that, as we've looked at the evolutions of our economy over the last 150 years, we've always hit these inflection points when there was a disruptive new technology or process for how large swaths of our economy operated, and there's always a concern about displacement. I think that the difference now is that seeing the evolutions of AI, which quite frankly are just starting, and there's going to be things we're going to be talking about in a decade we wouldn't even be thinking about today in this hearing. I think it's more about making sure that that kids going through the K-12 system primarily, but then also through higher education, are learning how to leverage AI and these tools to actually become far more productive, far more innovative, and then as a byproduct, having their labor be able to have a different set of value in the economy to come. And I think that it's an interesting thing. Human beings and human psychology, we always try to find a way to have purpose regardless of whatever the dynamics are that are operating on the field of play of our economy. One of the largest data center operators in my home state of Florida, Equinix, was the first data center to partner with an SMR provider, Oklo. These nuclear small modular reactors can generate at least 500 megawatts of power to our energy grid and to power data centers. Mr. Bakhjaratari, I think I got that right. That's not right. Close. My apologies. Can you share some ideas on how Congress and the Trump administration can accelerate the safe deployment of clean, advanced nuclear energy and AI data centers to support our growing energy and computing demands?
Thank you so much for your question. I think in the last couple of months, we have seen a clear link.
I mean, he's already at 1.25, man.
linkage between advancing AI and AI models and reliance on new modes of energy. I think my organization really is focused on the development of fusion energy, for example, because I think one of the pathways that now is showing real great success in our country is the emergence of private sector companies that are showing incredible successful models of how to get to fusion energy. We also have the national labs that have made major breakthroughs.
I will say this, Carolyn. Rob, if he took it up a notch visually, took himself off of that visually and took him up a notch. Imagine somebody like me just flipping the fucking cameras for this man. He just runs off. He's just going through the things, not even worrying about flipping buttons of sound. I take care of all that for his ass. And he just runs that. He gives me, visual or verbal cues for me to bring up whatever the fuck he wants.
The Lawrence Livermore.
That motherfucker would go up a notch.
In 2022, have made the first fusion breakthrough. So I think
that's releasing control.
Fusion is one of the pathways that I think can enable the energy demand that we will face going forward when it comes to AI models. But that's not going to be enough alone. So I think we should pursue multiple pathways because we want to be energy independent and we want to have the best models available to the world.
Mr. Thier? I'm not having a good day. Mr. Thier, with the establishment of the Special Advisor for AI and Crypto, what are some of the...
Holy shit. Deluxe, thank you for the 50, brother. I appreciate that. At Glenn Croy, I mentioned that for a new WA law that takes parents' rights regarding reporting 72 hours after an incident that revolves their child, regardless of staff or situation involvement. LGBT staff and child mind molesters. God damn. 72 hours after an incident that these motherfuckers got 72 hours to prepare? Oh, that is kind of fucked up.
The recommendations or priorities related to artificial
more
intelligence
than kind of
that you would
fucked
like
up.
to see them pursue?
Well, one of them is what you just asked about, Congressman, which is making sure that America has energy independence and a greater diversity of energy sources to power the algorithmic revolution. And this is something the Trump administration has taken steps to address with executive orders and other things like that. That's crucial. Obviously, a crucial part will also be the development of a national framework for artificial intelligence policy, just as we had for the internet before. We need to address this conflicting patchwork of policies that's developing. That's something the administration and this Congress is obviously concerned with. And then there's a variety of other things having to do with national security matters and other investments in various types of algorithmic and robotic systems that are really, really crucial, among many, many other things that Congress and the administration are trying to do.
I'm going to say this, brother. Maybe you need to do a members only with us. Bring that information up. Present it to us. Tell us what you got. Tell us what you found. Let's do a members only with it, brother.
Last point, I'll just throw this out to the panel. I was sitting with my colleague, Mr. Perry. We were just kind of theorizing about what type of advantages AI advancements, as well as, I guess you could say, quantum computing, what that could actually do to modernize and streamline governmental operations, not just federal, but state and local. Just in your own expert opinion, what do you think the possibilities are in terms of how it would essentially help to redesign, streamline, and bring greater amounts of efficiency into the federal government? Like, where do you think is a good place to start, I guess I would say?
Yeah, I would say that if you think about this new technology of agentic AI, it allows for a new kind of automation. We've been building automation for several decades, but a lot of it was very brittle. And if something slightly changed under the hood, all of a sudden, that automation would
the last thing I see from you, Glenn, is Byron AI 2028.
No longer work. With agentic AI, you can actually overcome a lot of that by having these very smart, intelligent reasoners and systems that can then go and do the levels of automation that we haven't been able to do before. And I think what that's going to do is really elevate all of us to be able to work on less mundane things and more sort of advanced thinking and creative ideas.
All right. I'm out of time, everybody. Thanks so much. I yield back.
Thank you. I'll now recognize Ms. Crockett for 5 minutes.
Thank you.
Your super chats come through your AdSense. Yes. That's how YouTube pays out. YouTube goes through AdSense. AdSense will go through Physical Check or PayPal or Venmo, or there's a lot of other payment methods that they use. But yes, that's how that works.
Thank you so much, Madam Chair.
It's fucked up, dude.
It's interesting because I don't know what all is taking place thus far in this hearing.
All right, God damn it. We gonna do two more. We're going to do 2 more. All right. Do we skip Crockett?
But I do recall when I left, we were talking about Elon. And so I want to make sure that we don't forget him.
Oh,
I
shit,
know
I
that
turned
some
my
people want
camera
us to
off. My
forget
bad.
Elon
There we
and
go.
act like he never existed, but we're not going to do that. We are talking about AI today, and I can tell you what real people in my district care about. I had a few town halls, and I talked to some seniors, and they were concerned about their data and their information and how it was being used, and they wanted me to answer questions that I just didn't have the answers to about what has Elon done with their tax information, their social security information, their health information, banking information about their credit histories. And instead of demanding answers, Republicans just blocked our motion to subpoena him to testify before this committee. And I'd ask at this point for unanimous consent to enter into the record a picture of who all was in the room when we took the vote. Madam Chair?
No objection.
As well as, since our clerk was ready and she knew who was in the room, the actual record of who was in the room at that time.
No objection.
Thank you so much. 5 months into the
I'm going to prove a point. Fuck it. Creative control. I'm going to prove a point. The attitude is still there. You still know it. You still feel it. But does it show when you listen?
119th Congress, and no one from the administration or DOJ
We're
has
listening.
appeared before this committee to explain why they're invading the privacy of Americans. And the irony of it all is during a 2023 hearing.
This is why I am telling you. This bitch is going to go places in her government. Why? She has a social media foothold just like AOC does, but on a bigger fucking scale. But what is your biggest complaint about her? She acts like a ghetto hood rat. All right, fine. Clean up that image. You wanted that attention because of the ghetto hood rat image. Or what got you there now? I'm telling you, she's going to be there. Because people are just be like, oh, this ghetto trash bitch. And then all they catch up on is when you do that shit, they always throw the same ammunition back at you every fucking time. Oh, so your ammunition was she's ghetto trash. Okay, cool. She cleans up that fucking image. 2-3 fucking years later, she's slamming fucking home runs. Why? Because you wrote her the fuck off and you didn't listen. We already know who Jasmine Crockett is. But I'm gonna say this. You saw a podcast fucking presidency. Tell me why, in any shape or form, you wouldn't see a social media presidency. I mean, they were already trying to do that with big tech, right? YouTube, Twitter, Meta, Facebook, all that shit. They were already fucking trying to do it. If they have control of that, why would you not? She has a bad ass social media presence. And now the fact that everybody's like ghetto hood rat trash, she's coming up, she's cleaning up, she's straightening that fucking spine. And she's going to show you who she really fucking is. Yeah, she's always going to show that goddamn direction. But this bitch, she's going to be a force to be reckoned with. And I promise you that.
I remember Chairman Comer stating that, quote, we've witnessed big tech autocrats wield their unchecked power to promote their preferred political opinions. And now he and committee Republicans are here helping the world's richest man to do just that. They're letting him spy on companies competing for government grants, but worse, they're letting him spy on you, the American people. Look, we can all agree that incorporating emerging technologies like artificial intelligence into government operations can be effective. However, these technologies shouldn't be used to weaponize the government against the public. So I'm going to ask Mr. Schneider really quickly. Is it true that when it comes to any technologies, AI or otherwise, that they can be a double-edged sword?
I think of technology as power.
You can hear the attitude. You can hear it if you're looking for it. Come on. Come on, she's pulled it the fuck back, guys.
And the more the technology enhances your power. And whether your power is for good or for bad depends on you, depends on how you're perceived. So yes, I mean, technology has affordances.
She's going to lead a social media fucking Democrat dumb motherfucking movement. I promise you. She will manipulate just like AOC did when she was dancing with her tits and ass on that fucking roof.
And we know that modern technologies are kind of built for surveillance, make surveillance easy. I mean, this is the most complex, effective surveillance device we've ever invented, and we all willingly put it in our pockets
Come on,
every morning.
motherfuckers, you voted for her
yes,
because of that
technology is
goddamn
used for both good and evil.
video.
But think of the people behind it.
Don't lie.
As the wielders.
Yes, I absolutely agree, and I appreciate your answer. That's my concern. My concern is that these technologies will be used to weaponize the government against the...
The only motherfucker that I've actually heard that would lead me down this path of thinking as myself, from everything that I have heard, from what I have listened to myself about her, and I have seen a lot of Crockett running her goddamn cock holster. I say this because she has a badass social media presence. The only ones pushing back or sharing some shit are the far right. Her cult. I would be far right for her cult. Y'all heard me talk. There ain't no goddamn way. I'm to the left of most of you. I'm telling you. This bitch done hoodwinked the entire goddamn fucking country. Deluxe with a 5, DM me in the cord. Can definitely work something out. I am down to talk about some shit. Durango motto on the back glass. Welcome to the shit show. Fuck yeah, let's go, brother. I'll definitely hit you up. Let me, we got to do Friday show. I need to line that up. I need to get that going. I will talk to you. If you want, we can do it Saturday. You want to take the members only stage Saturday, brother?
Public, because everything that we have seen out of this particular administration has been nothing short but weaponization. So let's talk about some of the things that this administration is doing. They've announced that they're going to use AI to scan the social media accounts of students who disagree with their policies. They've threatened nonprofits and universities that are they're threatening their tax exempt status. They've threatened journalists for reporting stories that are critical of the president. They are literally in court arguing to end birthright citizenship, and a lot of y'all think only immigrants are going to be affected by this, but this administration has already deported American citizens. In fact, in an interview with Time magazine, Trump said, quote, "I would love to do that. We're looking into it."
We'll finish it with hers.
Madam Chair, I'd ask unanimous consent to enter into
I do
the
have
records,
a hard stop.
an article published by ABC News titled, quote, "Trump wants to send U.S. citizens to foreign prisons." Legal experts
No
say-
objection.
Thank you. It won't be long before more Americans are targets of this administration. This administration has refused to follow the law, and the Republicans are failing to do actual oversight. We don't know what they're going to do with your health records and Social Security information. In fact, we don't know what they're doing. I don't think anybody does, except we know that they're breaking the law. And it is frustrating to me because I am somebody that actually believes in science. I believe that we should be
Is she breaking? Or is she being passionate now?
investing in our young people. I believe that we should not be taking research dollars away. I believe that we should be trying to come up with new technologies and that we should be leading the world. But unfortunately, I can't trust these guys to do good things because, as it's already been said by Mr. Schneider, it is about who it is that is on the side that is asking for this to be done. And frankly, this feels like some bad movie that we are all in and that the villains are doing bad. So with that, I will yield.
Okay, thank you. I'll now recognize Mr. Burchett for 5 minutes.
Overriding again. I want to hear Burchett. And then I got to call it.
Chair Lady, as the 435th most powerful member of Congress, I have the honor of asking questions that have been asked ad nauseum. But when I ask them, I answer as if this was the first time you said it. And the proper response is, Congressman Burchett, that is possibly the most incredibly intelligent question that's been asked to me.
This motherfucker is a savage. This is why I want to hear. This is the dude. This is the dude that asked that guy that tried to come up and just get you a gotcha question out of there. He's like something about eating Cheetos in your mom's basement or some shit like that. This is this fucker. I got to hear it.
So at least my clips will show that. And the 12 people that are watching this thing are at home. They're probably not in my district anyway. They're probably in Marjorie's district. Anyway, Mr. Thierer, did I get that name right?
Right.
All right. All right. The majority of East Tennesseans and frankly, Tennesseans and Americans are worried about their privacy being violated by government artificial intelligence programs. What do you think Congress can do to protect our privacy? And my biggest fear in all this is Congress. I mean, some of these cats up here still have 8-track tape players in their 1972 AMC Gremlins, and they're going to try to regulate AI. They can't hardly spell AI, and now we're going to regulate it. So,
well, Congress.
Well, fuck you for that, number one. He's got a goddamn point, though. He's got a point. If you got a goddamn 8-track player in your fucking vehicle, you're a collector, which means you are smart as shit. Why? Y'all? You don't understand how many army bases, military bases we have around this area. Alabama has 3. One of them is like a 40 fucking minute drive from me. I'm sorry. That's a fucking shit ass dig, but I get it. We're supposed to be retarded.
Congressman, thank you for that excellent question. And as someone who used to grow up in a gremlin with an 8-track player, I feel great affinity for this question. So I think that obviously we need to make sure that privacy is protected in the digital age, and this Congress has struggled with.
It is a dig. It is a dig because it's just like nobody fucking really cares about this shit because of actually what happened at the very beginning with Nancy Mace. A lot of people jumped off the fucking stream at that point because we were doing this for goddamn 10, 15, 20, 30 minutes. It allowed for a real fucking conversation.
With how to get that done. Obviously, we've had a multi-decade debate about baseline privacy legislation.
That's what I'm saying.
A great deal of bipartisan consensus exists that should be a priority before you get to a lot of the other questions about how to regulate all the various specific concerns about AI. A lot of them go back to fundamental data privacy, data security issues. And so I think, let's not put the cart before the horse. Let's think about getting that done first.
In the Republican Party,
also,
the balls are worn on the chest.
How do we maintain our dominance in the AI sector? Any of y'all can answer that. I'll
yeah,
ask Mr.
Wes,
Thierer
you got
first,
it.
if that's okay.
Well, a lot of it comes down to making sure that America diffuses first. We have wonderful products. We are essentially winning one part of the AI war, but losing another. We're winning the part in terms of developing really sophisticated, high-powered frontier models and other systems and applications. But the reality is that China may be winning the diffusion side of things. And this is why it's very, very essential that we not miss out on making sure we have partnerships and deals, multilateral, minilateral approaches. The administration's been trying to do this, obviously, recently. But this Congress should obviously make sure that we do everything we can to make sure American technology and products lead the world. Because it's not just about competitive advantage, it's about our values. Our values are embedded in our products, and of course, the Chinese Communist Party values are embedded in their products of, control, surveillance, and lack of human rights.
Yes, sir. We've got to do 3 things. Number 1 is we have to continue to out-innovate and outmaneuver China. Our platforms should be the dominant global platforms. Number 2 is we have to work with our allies and partners to spread our platforms to, the global south and rest of the world. And 3, we got to find ways to slow down China and make it impossible for them to deploy their capabilities and to use their capabilities against us.
Can you give me that first one again? I can tell by your accent you're probably not from East Tennessee.
I'm not, sir.
Since I'm the only person in this room that's not speaking with an accent right now. So if you could say that first one again, brother.
The first one, sir, was that we have to make sure that we out-innovate and outmaneuver China.
Great.
I'll just add, I agree with all the other panelists here and witnesses. I think that this is an infinite race. And the technology that is being discussed here today, AI, can essentially be wielded and constructed by any sort of group of smart people. And the planet grows smart people everywhere, every day. And I think that to the extent that we can be the ones that others follow, that we can be the ones whose software, whose hardware, whose foundation models others use, we will have the sort of dominant leadership position of how this whole planet evolves.
Ma'am?
Well, I would say that China's doing a very good job of figuring out how to defeat some of our security vulnerabilities. And I think that's one area that we have a significant we have a ways to go is to protect the infrastructure, because North
Yes.
Korea and China and others are getting better and better at infiltrating and exploiting our vulnerabilities.
Sir.
I'm going to be contrary here. I think the U.S.-China arms race is an overblown metaphor. This is not the 1960s. This is not the Cold War. Science happens globally. The transformer model, invented by Google, it was published. Everyone uses it.
This is not the Cold War. Okay, cool. You shit saying this is the calm before the storm.
DeepSeek, China comes up with this model. It's public. Everyone is innovating based on it. Ideas are flowing cross-border. Dominance is more companies than technology. So don't think about regulating the hardware, the software, the ideas. We can't do that. And this is not the kind of world where that happens. It really is the companies and what they're doing. It's going to be U.S. companies, European companies, Chinese companies, other companies.
All right. Thank you. Chair Lady, I yield.
Hold up. I got to hear that again.
Sir. I'm going to be contrary here. I think the U.S.-China arms race is an overblown metaphor. This is not the 1960s. This is not the Cold War. Science happens globally. The transformer model, invented by Google, it was published. Everyone uses it. DeepSeek, China comes up with this model. It's public. Everyone is innovating based on it. Ideas are flowing cross-border. Dominance is more companies than technology. So don't think about regulating the hardware, the software, the ideas. We can't do that. And this is not the kind of world where that happens. It really is the companies and what they're doing. It's going to be U.S. companies, European companies, Chinese companies, other companies.
All right. Thank you. Chair Lady, I yield back nothing.
The motherfucker's not wrong, though. He's not wrong, though. Google is building a fusion reactor right now that should be ready in about 5 to 7 fucking years to power their AI. We've only pulled literally like 1.8 megajoules so far. It's a constant output of fucking power from a fusion reaction so far. No, that went up. It was like 2.3 now. And we did that from 2023 to the beginning of this year. This fusion race is going to be something, ladies and gentlemen. And apparently, if you're not a nerd techie, you're not going to know about this. But there's like 7, 8 fucking countries involved in this fusion fucking race. There's somebody who can build a working, stable fusion reactor. There's 7 fucking countries. And now, from what I can count, there's 6 companies that are involved in this fusion fucking race. The power of the sun in the palm of your hands. Imagine what you could do with a miniaturized version of the sun. The amount of energy that would put out, you're getting into Star Trek shit now. With AI included. I see that going very bad. And if any of you understand any of what I'm saying right now, we may have the answer to the Fermi paradox very soon. Okay, I'm being hyperbolic and just like over the top with that, but I do want to leave you with that thought, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to end it here. Hard out. I've already gone over the time. My wife's she's going to be mad. But I appreciate every single fucking one of you. Y'all are amazing as shit. Deluxe with the 5 again. Gotta start saving on my PBR bottle caps. See if I can make a royal flush. Currently, I am too shy of a flush ace high. Oh shit. But there you go, brother. Keep going. Hold me tighter. How you doing? I'm just Tina Bright's here too. Look, Rhoda Bennett. Some of you, Mr. Trump Jane. I'm sorry I didn't say hi to you guys earlier, but this kind of worries me. And I do like the fact that I will do this. Y'all, anytime we do hearings, we're definitely going to let the chat have control of what you hear with it. Like, we'll do those polls. You will have control of who we skip. I don't know about the speed. We'll keep it at 1.25 for now. But you will have control of who we skip. I will and may override. But yeah, that was fun. I thought 72 hours was insane. Y'all have a good night. We will see you again very soon. And again, thank you to Deluxe Night. After this, I'm definitely going to hit you up between now and when I set the show up tomorrow. You and I got to talk, brother. Y'all have a good night. We'll see you again tomorrow.
Comes a president. We can't start our own little business here.
That's all I need. I'll make it happen with some work and belief. Know what I want, so I'll take it on. I've made mistakes, but mistakes make you strong. Let's break it down for a minute. I want the crown, I'm gonna get it. You hear me loud, man, I'm winning. Yeah, Charlie Sheen will be grinning. These ladies know that I'm sinning, and this is just the beginning. I'm closing in the night inning. There ain't no point in resisting. Living life like a dream, live it right, that's the thing. Every night got a team, I've been tied to the scene. Out on stage, here on screen. Okay, it's a dream, and I pray as a team. One day it'll be me. If I want it, then I'll get it. Head down, don't regret it. Push myself to the limit. If I play it, then I win it. I'm just saying, I'm just living for today. For a minute, I don't stay. I just visit, have no shame. I admit it. Looking to see if I succeed, to see if I believe. They're looking up to me. They want the best of me now, best of me now, best of me now, best of me. They want the best of me now, best of me now, best of me now, best of me.